Hello, we're back again, but this time we have an office. It's a cave. You guys like the cave?
It's cold.
It's dark in here.
Iron Man built this with a box of scraps in a cave.
I found a wet spot. Is this water?
No, it is not.
Listen, it's a small cave, but don't worry, I've got the RGB lights over here. Yes, I am changing the style of the video, so now we got a little podcast set up, and I'll change it every week. This time we're in a cave because we're a bunch of gaming.
Do not eat the wall, honey.
Is that a Minecraft reference?
Yes. Anyway, yes, we have an actual visual setup here. I will still have the graph with everyone's games. That'll come up as needed. So, but this way there's a little more visual stuff going on. Now I've basically forced myself to edit this. That being said, because of how much editing this might take, it might be 4 weeks in between each video instead of 3, but we'll see about that. If this comes out 3 weeks after the last one, then there you go. If it comes out a week later, then there you go.
We're nothing if not adaptable.
Yeah, well, I've got to adapt to the current trends. I've got to evolve. It's 2025. It's a new year. Technically, we're recording this right before the new year. Well, you know what? It's a new year by the time this video comes out. So,
does anyone have a Type-C to cave adapter?
Shut up. Anyway, today's topic: favorite video games. This is one that I know a lot of people want to do. So we have 6 people here today. Starting off, that guy all the way over there in the corner from the British lands.
What? Me? Where's the other British people? Where am I? Woo!
We've kidnapped him.
Help!
You're stuck in a cave with us.
And that is me. And we're going in order, of course, as always, as to the intro or how the lists are gonna go. So I'm going second. I'm the Pixel Doctor. Then there's that one over there. She doesn't talk that much.
Yeah. Send help. There's a boulder in front of the entrance.
They are locked in here with me. Yes, that is correct.
I am Cat. What do you expect?
I haven't seen my Rowlets in days.
Then there's the guy who I think he's just been here this whole time. I don't think he actually joined. He was just here. Came with the cave.
This is my pile of rocks. Do not touch these rocks.
Then there's a dead body in the corner.
More like a spirit. Hello, I could just leave whenever I want. I'm just here to help these guys out.
Anyways, yes. Now that this gang of captivating people are here.
Thank captive.
Who are you calling a people?
We can begin starting off with the British Burb in the corner.
Hello. So, to no one's great surprise, I have a very obvious first pick. It's Mass Effect 2. Where do I begin with this absolute masterclass from BioWare at their absolute peak? Mass Effect 1, pretty decent game. You know, it's a great starting base for their own take on Star Wars without the limitations of the IP itself. It's their own sci-fi universe. They're just allowed to go creatively free, and they really did that with Mass Effect 2. It's a perfect example of a sequel in my eyes. They take everything that worked about the first game, and they improve upon it. The dark side of the galaxy is an interesting thing explored in the Mass Effect universe, especially in Mass Effect 2. We find out about the terrorist group known as Cerberus. Not only them, representing the worst of humanity, but we also find out about the worst of the aliens of the galaxy in Omega, a space station full of criminals and the underworld and all sorts of people where you just disappear at a moment's notice and no one will look for you. There's no police officers. Drugs get dealt every day, people go missing, people die. That's just how Omega works. There's only one rule in Omega: don't fuck with its undisputed queen, Aria. That's just the level of seedy depths of the galaxy in Mass Effect we've discovered in Mass Effect 2. But it's not all bad. You find out more about the species of the galaxy we knew in the first game, and even some new species, like the Drell. We meet them through the form of an assassin we meet in the game, who I will talk about maybe a bit later. He is a member of a species that basically owe their debt to the Hanar who saved them during their own species extinction, proving that there is a lighter side even among all the darkness of this game. Cerberus is a perfect example of humans' darkness, however. They are a pro-human group in the universe of Mass Effect, where basically they want to put humanity first in the most literal meanings of things, where in Mass Effect 1 you often get accused of humanity being selfish. We really see that with Mass Effect 2's Cerberus, where it's a human organization who only start bringing in aliens for a particular mission during the game because of the desperate times. They have a lot of human first-centric goals, supporting the Terra Firma Party, who are a political party in the universe who are pro-human. And there's a lot of emphasis on exploring multiple perspectives of humanity compared to a lot of sci-fi that brushes off human differences to make a united human faction in their setting. Think of the Republic in Star Wars, or what's the faction in Halo? Someone remind me.
Covenant.
Yeah. Or like Star Trek, there's plenty of sci-fi where they sort of show like humans very unified in one faction, whereas I think Mass Effect does a better job of portraying varying viewpoints of divided factions among species. Where would we be for a RPG without talking about characters? So, returning characters, we've got some highlights from the original game. All the original companions from the first game will return, but in new roles. Some are given supporting roles, some are fully returning as like major characters in the game, and others are returning as somewhat opposed to you now that you're working for a known terrorist organization for what most of the galaxy know Cerberus as. You get fan favorites such as Garrus Vakarian, who return with new levels of depth given to their character, with infamous quotes such as,
It's so much easier to see the world in black and white. Gray, I don't know what to do with gray.
and I think that perfectly kind of sums up Mass Effect 2 as a game. It's a world, it explores the world in a grey viewpoint. It takes the whole perception you have from the first game of this like grand space opera and kind of twists it into a dark underworld, while also still showing you there is good in that universe. It's a lot more nuanced. What would be a great sequel without inventing new material? Mass Effect 2 handles this perfectly. We have new characters, such as the Elusive Man, one of the most fascinating villains in fiction, perfectly living up to his inspiration, the Smoking Man from X-Files, if anyone's familiar with that show. So yeah, the Elusive Man is an enigmatic and fascinating character you want to learn more about as you interact with him. He's one of those characters you sort of meet as like a mystery, even down to his name, just the Elusive Man. You don't find out his real name in the game. You just want to find out more about him and you look into external material for that. But even what you get in the game is really interesting, of this sort of mysterious leader of the Cerberus organization. Is he a good person? Does he have noble intentions? Find out more as you play and experience the world. But he's not the only one. You've even got supporting cast like Armando Bailey, who's a member of Citadel security on the station, the Citadel, which is a big space station in the center of the galaxy where all the galaxy comes together. The leaders of the galaxy and everything are stationed there, and you find out from him kind of both a mix of the moral good of the Citadel security and also the darker stuff they do, bribery and so on. But the real focus is the squad mates now. I don't know how many of you have played a ton of RPGs, but you can imagine in a lot of RPGs, the squad mates, your companions, are your main draw of these kind of games, right? Like, anyone want to tell me one of their favorite RPG protagonists?
Mordred.
Oh yeah, well, I can talk about Mordred. Okay. He's an icon of the franchise. The Doctor with a dark side to him, but good meaning in his actions, however extreme his actions may come across. He's a fascinating character that's perfectly delivered in the game and its sequel. I won't say too much about why he's such a good character, but he is a perfect case of the duality of Mass Effect, showing both a good person and a dark side to him, in that he needs to come to terms with his choices in life and his own moralities on matters.
I mean, he is the very model of a scientist Solarian.
He really
Yeah, I
is.
just love his mannerisms.
Don't forget all the singing. That's a great surprise for people. His songs are great. But yeah, many squad mates. You actually have 12 in total, which is honestly probably one of the most for an RPG. Like 12 unique companions, that's pretty good.
Especially when you can only ever have 2 at a time.
Yeah, but it allows a lot of replayability, which is really good in an RPG. So you're covering these 12 companions for a suicide mission in the game. Some of the galaxy's best will join you in this game and have actually put their talents to the test in order to make sure anyone can survive this suicide mission. So you've got characters like Samara, who's a Justicar, a sort of code-driven, ruthless officer / bounty hunter kind of character, very respected by the Asari people, showcasing a very different side of the species than the prior Asari companion Liara, who is a lot more mature of a character and less reckless when needs to be. So they do, even though you are taking a character that's the same species, they show you a very different side of that species in that character. There's other great characters again. You have Miranda, who is one of the deceptive characters of the game. At first you think, oh god, an Ice Queen character. Oh, I'm gonna hate this one. But then very quickly you start conversating with her, and depending on your dialogue choices, you can actually build a quick bond with her that starts to really shed those layers of Ice Queen nature, and you actually find out that she's actually more open than other characters you might have initially thought were more open. There's a nice, interesting contrast of character there. And there's many more I could talk about. Zaid, Grunt, there are so many great characters in this game. It is well worth playing. And the surprise final companion, I won't mention it for spoilers' sake. That's a real special one.
Needless to say, there will be a spoiler warning before the video even starts.
Yeah.
Which means you can't talk about spoilers freely.
Speaking of spoilers, I'm going to spoil the final mission. So, as alluded to, the narrative is the suicide mission. It's the best video game level of all time, in my opinion. I will hear no arguments. Your entire narrative has been driving you towards this, and everything you do has some impact on this final mission upon the game's ending. Did you prepare for the mission with the right amount of pre-prep? If you don't, people will die. But even if your equipment is as perfect as can be, your leadership can get people killed. Your choices do matter. This is no Telltale game where they say, oh yeah, you know, choices matter, but you're just gonna have to kill one or the other. No. Everyone can die in this final mission. Your favorite character, they could die if you fuck up. If you make the wrong call. No one has plot armor. Not even your player character. Each character is qualified for certain jobs on the mission. Do you know your crew well enough to put them on the right jobs? Does your crew have enough of a bond with you, enough loyalty to you in order to complete the task and leave with their lives and ensure the lives of their allies on that mission? Did you pick the right leaders for the mission? All these choices and more impact so much. It is such an incredibly immersive mission that just chef's kiss. Honestly, I cannot praise the final mission of this enough. You get sold on a suicide mission and you feel it. You really feel it's a suicide mission. Anything anyone would like to say about that?
I mean, this is mostly educational for me. I haven't been a huge proponent of Mass Effect up until now.
I haven't
Well, I
touched.
highly recommend it.
I play a little bit of the first one. But I'm
Well,
quite familiar because Deadlock used to talk about it a lot over the years.
And there's me,
It's a
hello.
good one. It's a good one.
And two is generally generally considered the best of the trilogy. The original trilogy, I should say.
I love a lot in 3, and as I
I
said,
think 3 only
respect
gets
1.
not so much hate because it kind of drops the ball at the end, but that's like the only
Yeah.
criticism you can throw its way.
Yeah, there's some. It's a good journey. It's a bad ending, basically. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's beside the point. We're not talking about 3. We're talking about 2, with one of the best endings in video games. Oh god. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I will pass on the baton and.
But that was enough out of you. It's
Talking
my
about
turn
Mass
now.
Effect
I'm taking the talking stick. It's mine now. I get the magic
Here you
talking
go,
stick.
The
All right.
talking bat.
The bat was already used. Anyway, I'm gonna tone down the seriousness of that last one, and you know what? I'm pretty much go in the complete opposite direction with that, both in design and seriousness of the tone of the story. In fact, we're gonna get silly because we're gonna go with a nice, simple Paper Mario. My personal favorite game, but I had to go pick it right away, just because it is my number one. If I didn't pick my number one as my number one, I'd be upset with myself.
The original?
Yes, the original. What do you mean?
I'm just want to make
I
sure
said-
because there's 6 of them.
Yeah, and they all have subtitles. Anyway, thanks, Mr. Rude. Paper Mario, it has been my favorite game since childhood. It's actually the first game that I think I beat. I can't remember that off the top of my head. But this game was with me like throughout my whole life, and it did take me a while to actually beat it. So you know what? It probably wasn't the first game I beat. But I love the art style of this game, all paper aesthetics, and it's a little more crunchy. This is back, it was still the first one, so it wasn't as refined as later games were. It has a nice, very simple RPG system. You have two basic attacks, your jump and your hammer. Then you have your items. You have your options, which is indicated by the little flag. And you can run away or swap partners or whatever. We'll get to the partner system at the bottom. And the bottom one is like your specials, which you will unlock throughout the game by saving the star spirits, which you get by beating the bosses of each chapter. It's basically like a storybook is how it presents itself, which is nice. Makes sense for Mario. Not too long after the game, you get your beginning introduction, and Mario loses right away. Like, the first battle you get into is against Bowser, and you lose, which is kind of different for a Mario game. Obviously, the story itself is pretty simplistic. Bowser kidnaps Princess Peach but he gets it by stealing the Star Raw from the Star Haven, which makes him invincible and makes everyone unable to get wishes granted because they can't do it without the Star Raw that he stole. So your whole journey is to get the Star Rod back, save Peach, bring wishes back to the land, and the journey is just fun. You get to go through all these different areas. You start off in like a little Goomba village, it's just kind of your typical grass area. But the game is silly, so like you got to get the hammer for Grandpa because the evil witch that works under Bowser drops your block. So you got to go get Grandpa, but on your way to go get Grandpa, the veranda had fallen. Mario does a little look back and forth, realizes there's no veranda under him, and falls. Go do some stuff, get the hammer back, get back to the village, then you make your way, you get a few little basic enemies, then you have your basic jump stuff, blah blah blah, a little time forward. You proceed forward to Shooting Star Summit. After a whole bit of story and stuff, of the Star Spirits telling you, hey, come save us, you get to meet Twink, who is a little star, I forget what they're called, Star Spirit, they're not little star spirits, whatever they're called, little star boys. He hits you in the head and he's like, I got this from Peach. And he gives you this little thing, and now you have little action commands. So when you use your attacks, you can press A to do a little extra damage, and it basically opens up the game fully. Especially when you start getting into the badges, which is basically other attacks. And I love the badge system in this game because you could equip whatever you want up to a certain point. So like you have to like kind of prioritize what works. You can equip and unequip the badges. It is a child-friendly game, which is nice. Like if you need an RPG, like to start someone on RPG, it is not a bad place to start someone. It is very, very beginner friendly. And I'm not gonna go too much into the badge system because there's too many little things to go into with that, but you have stuff for your items, you have stuff for jumping, you have stuff for pretty much everything. So you can build Mario however you want. And every 100 experience points, you can upgrade yourself, and it's only 3 things to upgrade: your health, your how many bad points you have, and your flower points, which is like your special abilities that use the badges. So very, very simple, very, very introductory friendly. Going on, then the individual chapters where the real fun come in. Each one is set in a different location in the Mushroom Kingdom. First one is your basic castle. You gotta deal with the Koopa Bros, who are basically like a bad version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is just fun. They're pretty goofy. They kind of show up how goofy and unserious the game takes itself, despite how serious like the plot is to the characters themselves. Second one is in a desert, which is also fun because you got to do some puzzle stuff, and you can, if you explore a bit, you can get like a lemon lime, give it to this one character, he'll be like, I love this thing. Here's a secret, blah, 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 buy these things at the shop. There's all these little puzzles you can do, and it just makes exploring kind of fun. Not to mention the music that you're accompanied by everywhere you go, my favorite being Shiver Mountain. I think it's what, I can't remember, I'm blanking on the name, but I think it's Shiver Mountain, and it's one of my favorite tracks. All the enemies are appropriately themed after the areas they're in. Some of them are reskins of earlier enemies, which is fine, that makes sense, it happens. Really the fun part is the bosses and the little partners. You get, is it 8 partners? Yeah, 8. In this first game, they all have different abilities, they all have different varying usefulness. Watt is kind of the best because he just ignores defense straight out, which is kind of unfair. But they're all pretty unique, different versions of Mario enemies. And got one unique one in Watt there, because nothing like him really existed beforehand, besides maybe the Angry Sun, which I don't think that's what he's supposed to be, but I'm not sure. So there's just a lot of uniqueness, and then like I said, you have all the varying bosses, which that's where the real fun comes in, because they all play differently, aside from like one, which kind of sucks. when you got 8 main bosses and a bunch of different mini bosses and stuff, it's okay to have like a bad one here and there. I just love the uniqueness. I love the silliness of everything. And for an introductory RPG, they can be a bit difficult, especially the later half ones. I would say everyone after the 3rd chapter can be a bit on the difficult side if it's your first time playing in like an RPG. Especially like the 7th chapter, Ice King, can be very tricky. I don't know. It's just a fun game, fun areas, very simple. Very aesthetically pleasing. I love the paper look, the papercraft look. And it started off a franchise that I love, but I also hate because of what they did everything past Super Paper Mario.
Yeah, this is one of those ones that kind of floated under my radar when I was a kid. I actually have not played this series at all.
I have not played any of the Mario RPGs at all.
Yeah, that one I haven't done either.
I will say I've played Thousand Year Door a while back, and that was definitely a good game, and I need to try this one at some point.
Most people say Thousand Year Door is the best of the Paper Mario games, but this one's my personal favorite.
I'll be the judge of that for myself when I get around to it.
You can't be the judge of his favorite.
No, I mean like of me liking it better or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all for me. I had to start off with my favorite, because if you just don't start off with your favorite, what are you doing? You're doing something wrong. I'll pass the talking stick off to that one over there.
Ow. Well, to no one's surprise at all, my first is Silent Hill 2. From the captivating story to the variety of weapons, this game has it all. Even the enemies are fitting for such a terrifying game based in the fog-filled town of Silent Hill, and who call forget the iconic Punisher himself, Pyramid Head.
Do you love Silent Hill 2? It is really good.
Every time I hear the Silent Hill name, it's always talking about 2.
Because 2 is the best game, which almost by far not. 3 is not far behind it, I'll tell you that at least. I haven't played anything past 3, so I can't say.
From the streets to the apartment, to the hospital and even to the hotel, this game keeps you on your toes while you work to solve the mystery of a letter from your dead wife calling you back to Silent Hill, where you both shared a wonderful vacation, encountering others who were drawn in.
Have heard things about the story of Silent Hill 2, and I don't do good with horror games, and that subject specifically is something that bothers me, so I'm gonna give this a hard pass myself.
It is
I
not...
appreciate the people that do like it.
It's definitely just not a game that's for the faint of heart.
Well, it's not very scary, I'll tell you that. Personally, I don't think it's scary at all.
I'm the littlest of bitches.
It's psychological.
Like Laura, the little girl who knew your wife through their shared time at the hospital, and Eddie the coward who was drawn in to be punished for killing a dog.
Yeah, Eddie... Oh god, I love the character of Eddie. I hate Eddie, but I love his character. Like, kind of, it's just like he could have done things. It's the whole thing with Silent Hill. You could have, like, done things better. Like, he made everything worse because he decided to be a little bitch. Right over there.
What? That's the Silent Hill 2 ending.
It is the best ending.
Yeah, oh my god, I remember you being spoiled on that.
Just the whole story as a whole is amazing. Meeting Maria, protecting her, watching her die like 3 fucking times before the final boss.
Every character in Silent Hill 2 is super interesting. Even the enemies are interesting because they're implied with the story. Like, it really is a very good bit of craft for the world with the way they did it.
Again, though, like, yeah, the other enemies are cool, but you've also got Pyramid Head, who's like literally an embodiment of punishment. Like, he is just cool inherently.
It's not even entirely his meaning in the story, though. That's the crazy thing. Most people that haven't played the games think that he's just an enemy, but he's so much more than that.
No,
Yeah.
he represents distaste he has for himself, I believe, is what I was told.
It's a couple
it's
things.
Something about self-punishment I remember is the big one.
Basically, that's...
And then there's the level that scared me the most, the underground maze, where with absolutely zero warning at all, Pyramid Head shows up wielding a spear now.
That's true, and I believe if he catches you in that segment, it's an instant kill. In that segment only, I don't know why.
What
But
is it
yeah.
on all the other segments? A gentle tickle?
I mean, it does heavy damage, but I'm pretty
It's
sure
a
that.
flesh wound.
It's it's a massive freaking steel claymore.
Well-
It's a flesh wound.
Well, not in the segment that she's talking about.
Yeah, and you could find his great knife if you look around.
That is true, but it kind of sucks because it's so heavy. But it is cool that you can get it at all. I love all the lore surrounding Pyramid Head, because yes, it isn't a representation of James punishing himself and the hate he has for himself, but it's also like Pyramid Head tries to kind of indirectly help James better himself by also punishing him. It's weird, but like if you play the game once, you'll start to see the implications.
I mean, it's also about repressed emotions and,
Yes.
well, his sexuality as
yes.
one of the nurses.
It also kind of makes sense because penance is supposed to be the other half of punishment.
Yeah, and
Like
not only that,
coming out the other end better.
Pyramid Head is also a representation of the town because they used to have executioners that were Pyramid Heads. That's what they were. So it's not only that like lore for James, it's lore for the town as well.
It just looks like it would
But
be
then
an
there's the new
uncomfortable
game plus weapons.
Plus all the different endings, which all imply different things.
Dog.
He is pyramid.
Like a fucking spray paint can.
Like dog.
What the dog's doing?
The dog is summoning UFOs. That's what the dog doing.
And the best new game plus weapon.
A foam finger.
The chainsaw.
This is a good round one pick, for me at least.
This is why Texas
We
Chainsaw
respect it.
Massacre is on my list. No, it's not. It's...
And that's if there are no enemies in range.
So far we got 2-2s going here.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe we wanted to run
There's plenty of
sequel game.
twos on my list as well.
Twos
Sequel
are
gang rise up.
Twos are either the best game in the franchise or the worst. That's usually how it
Yeah,
goes.
choose Zelda.
Only if you
Twos should be the best because they should be an improvement on everything the first one set up.
Well, they fucked up in
Do you
the middle.
remember Zelda 2, Deadlock?
There was an era where
And
the
even
sequels
then,
to games
Zelda-
were just experiments.
And then to be fair, even Zelda 2 wasn't the worst one in the Zelda series. That came a little bit later.
Fexic, what's your first?
Yes. So my first is going to be Shadow of the Colossus. So, to nobody's surprise, I'm sure I've made my love for this game evident multiple times, and I would argue for fairly good reason. First, there's the plot. You play as Wander, a young man who has stolen an ancient sword from his village and traveled on horseback to the Forbidden Lands with the corpse of the recently deceased woman named Mono in tow, all against the teachings and laws of his village elders, mind you. Once there, he's offered a deal by Dorman, a disembodied voice that agrees to bring Mono back to life if Wander slays the 16 Colossi dwelling in the Forbidden Lands. It's a pretty straightforward narrative and doesn't require much more in the way of active storytelling. The game itself is equally simple, with the majority of gameplay featuring the 16 Colossi, which act as equal parts boss fights and platforming puzzles, separated really only by the time and distance required to find the one you're currently supposed to be killing. But even with the overarching stuff being simple, there's a deeper layer of complexity littered with unanswered questions and unclear moral standpoints. Like, what was the supposed cursed fate that Mono was allegedly killed for possessing? Who exactly is she to Wander? How were the Colossi made, and by what means were they sealing parts of Dorman's power? How can they differ in personality such that some will passively ignore Wander until threatened, while others pursue and attack him with extreme malice? The list goes on and on. But the plot is solid, the gameplay, in my opinion, is riveting, the soundtrack is absolutely beautiful. I know I put that forward on the OSTs list. And what really sold this game for me as a teenager, and what continues to sell it for me now, is the setting. The Forbidden Lands are so richly detailed and expansive, and, in my opinion, perfectly capture the essence of a place once inhabited and traveled by ancient and powerful humans, now reduced to ruins, sunken, buried, or overgrown as nature lives on. And you travel these lands accompanied only by your horse, most of the time, with only fleeting instances of other small animals like lizards and birds to speak of. All the while, the occasional voice of Dorman guiding you when you get lost serves as a constant reminder that you're both unsettlingly alone in this massive abandoned land, and also unsettlingly not. A captivating game for sure, and one that's been my personal favorite for coming up on 15 years now. It admittedly poses more questions than it answers, but skillfully does so in a way where you're able to either come up with a believable answer on your own, or simply don't mind resigning it to the realms of mystery and intrigue. Yeah, but I love just the scale of most, I say most, not all, of the Colossi, where it showcases, like, even from a distance, just how much bigger than you they are.
Well, they are colossi, so even the small ones are still a good portion bigger than you. That being said, I do like how this game is kind of equal parts puzzle and equal parts action.
Yeah, you can't just go swinging the sword, which, if you actually stop and look at the animation they use, I don't like. Wander is good with a bow. He's a proficient shot. He can fire from horseback. I honestly think he is probably one of the shittiest swordsmen I have ever seen.
He kind of just grabbed the sword. I don't think he was an expert beforehand with swords. I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of nice to have that.
It's very clear from the animation, he is not a trained and proficient swordsman. His swings are slow and clumsy, and let's be real, it doesn't take a master to stab somebody.
And let's be honest, the few times he does swing a sword, it's more like he's using a club than anything.
Yeah, he's very clumsy.
He sounds like in his village, he was a huntsman.
More than likely, yeah, because his archery is on point, and his climbing most certainly is. That's the whole focal point around which the rest of the game kind of rests.
And dang, does the game make you feel like you are just holding on for dear life.
But yeah, but I love the game. I love the design of both the world, the enemies. Like, really, it's kind of hard to pick something that isn't well designed in this game. And if you peek a little bit behind the dev curtain, some of the unused Colossi that never made it into the final game are also cool, if a little outlandish for what the final product ended up being. But yeah, love the game. My friend James put me onto it in 2008, and it's been my favorite ever since.
It's gotten like five remakes. So
every time they make a new PlayStation platform, they redo it.
Pretty much. Billick, do you want to pick a different version of Shadow of the Colossus issue #1?
No, I'm not cheating. Now, I could pick my favorite one, or I could pick the one that I think I know I'm going to be stolen from if I don't pick it now. So, Sam, I'm stealing Bug Souls from you.
What?
Hollow Knight.
No! Okay, that's fine.
Oh my god, this is just a great game all around. It's easily my favorite Metroidvania to date. Each area just all throughout the game just feels unique without needing to be as dour completely as Souls games often are. And even everything has just its own music that just fits each area perfectly. I cannot just sing enough praises for just each location. You just think of places like Kingdom's Edge, where it's all ashen and rainy, and the whole place just feels so sad. You could just look at places like this and just see all the dead bodies, or even raining from the Colosseum above, and it's what is happening here? There's just this whole awful ambience in this place.
It basically feels like an area that is snowing.
Yeah, but it's the ashen remains
ashing.
of a great worm that's above you. But there's also places like Greenpath.
Yes, there is the place. It is the dead remains of the king, and then there is Green Path, which is
Green Path is just this overgrown, lush, beautiful place that's so full of life. You also have the mines of Crystal Peaks, where everyone is still just working away as if nothing's changed. That horrible feeling of deepness, where it's just everything's skittering and crawling around the place while it's super dark. And then you probably have my favorite place in the game, the City of Tears, where it's just constantly raining from a lake above it. And it's just like this beautiful, somber place. And that's just like the locales you go over in the first place. I've already talked about one of my favorite final bosses in the Hollow Knight from a previous list. But then you also have arguably my favorite boss in this game, who's only boss 3, the Mantis Lords.
Oh my god.
Like, this is like one of my favorite, not only favorite bosses in this game, but favorite multi-bosses in just any game. You first just fight the one sister in the middle before you beat her, and all of a sudden the other two jump in, and you're not having to try to dodge 2 of them as they just battle in sync. And unlike, say, many Dark Souls bosses where they just plop 2 enemies in front of you and just say, deal with it, these 2 actually attack in a synchronized pattern, allowing you both opportunities to attack, while also simultaneously trying to dodge the combined onslaught. You're doing so much work, and it only gets even better if you ever decide to take on the boss rush and you just say, how do we make this harder? How about having you fight all 3 at once? Like, these sisters do well to actually gatekeep the aforementioned deep nest, while also just making a test of your battle skills to make sure you're ready for the challenges ahead. And just so many of these things are just going on, and it's just always a good adventure. I know I've said like this is basically just like Dark Souls with bugs like so many others have, but like it really does feel like that. You just everything like death isn't just like a game over like you would see in like a Metroid game where you just have to go back to the main menu and load a save. No, you just die, your body's somewhere, has some of your money, go get it back. Fine, quick, easy, done. And then there's just like the whole like setting and just how narratively is just telling its story. It's a broken kingdom befelled by the curse, or in this case a plague, where you learn your literal dark origins and go on a challenge a god of light who, let's be honest here, looks way too fucking similar to Gwyn from Dark Souls. Like, look at these 2 characters and tell me one wasn't inspired by the other. I dare you with some modicum of honesty. But yeah, like, this is a game I could just always come back to, because even if you think you've done the game, beat it all, fine, whatever, it also has a bunch of achievements to actually help you maybe even learn it a bit better, maybe you learn to be faster. It has speedrunning achievements built into the game, encouraging you to, once you've actually beaten it, let's see if you can go a little faster. Let's see if you can beat this time and this one. Or even just Iron Man mode it to where one death means you go back to the beginning. You think you just have to be in the game once, but there's always more you can do with it. And then there's the aforementioned boss gauntlet I mentioned earlier. Dear God, do not try that if you do not have the patience of a saint.
And I do have to say, as a little note, for when you do die, unlike in Dark Souls and the Soulsborne series, you don't leave a little blood patch where your body was, where you have to collect your souls or whatever.
No, it's your little shadow who's fighting back to stay away from you.
It's your shade. And as you're approaching it, by the way, because this game's music is so on point, you hear a little chime. Now, this chime does play later on in the game when you are looking at the story of the Pale King. Also, yes, the music is so much on point. The Mantis Lords alone. I had that as one of my alarms, and oh, it was so good.
Just to name a few more tracks, the jolliness of the Dung Defender. Yes, it's a dung beetle that fights you with poop, and yet he's still one of the best characters in this game.
He's amazing.
There's just like, again, I already mentioned earlier, the tragedy that is lined with the Kingdom's Edge, the unsettling Deep Nest, or just like the absolute peak terror and holiness of the Radiance.
You can't forget the beauty that is Hornet's theme.
Yeah, that one's also just classic. Like, there's just so much, both visually, presentationally, and just like gameplay, that just feels like masterclass of indie work here. So, anything anyone else wants to ask? I'm not sure if I was maybe a little haphazard with this one.
Yet another one that I intend to look into.
I just had 3 games in a row of, oh god, I've not played these, have I?
I've tried, and I just can't get into this one.
Yeah, I can understand like where like some people it just does not gel with them. Like this game is definitely not made for everyone. Like there are points where you can definitely feel stuck just because of how much it's kicking your teeth in.
You
But
really
it
have
is
to
just
be a fan
worth
of
just exploring.
You really have to be a fan of platformers, Metroidvanias, and Souls-like games.
Yeah, which
Because-
is a lot to be on board with for this
and
one.
a
But
lot to
for
ask
what
of
it,
somebody to accomplish.
yeah, but if you are on board for all of that, you're not gonna find a better game than this.
It's hard to beat.
Have you seen the 4 games before it?
It's hard to beat Hollow Knight in
Yeah.
terms of favorite games.
Like it's just there's a reason I had to pick it because even Sam over here knows like it was going to be on their list or mine.
It was. It was gonna be number 2 on my list, actually.
Yeah, that's another reason I picked it.
Coward.
Yep. Excuse me, I wasn't a coward. I have another game that I have above Hollow Knight.
No, I meant Deadlock. He didn't pick his favorite
Oh.
game first. Coward.
I will. Oh, don't worry. It'll be here soon. It'll be here soon. Don't worry.
I will be docking you points for this.
No, fuck you.
But I do have to say, massive respect for Hollow Knight. I will
So-
follow you into deepness every time.
Oh yeah. Speaking of bosses that are freaky as hell, Nosk.
Oh my god, Nosk! Oh, I still hear it.
Like just to finish this off, Nosk is like Deepness is already a terrifying place, and then you see what looks like you just out of your field of vision, just staring at you. Like what is going on here? Then you follow it deeper and deeper to its lair, and then it goes over a sickeningly twisted, crunching transformation as it reveals its true like spider self. And then the whole fight just gets frantic and chaotic, and you are just panicking all the while.
And that's after you go through the terror that is Deep Nest.
Yeah,
'Cause
Deep
that
Nest
place
is
is
a dark and
dark.
writhing place. Like you could just see like so many limbs, bodies just crawling around all throughout the screen, and that's not
Giant
even including
centipedes
the
crawling across the map.
and that's not even including some of the bugs that after you beat just get back up because there was something else in there.
Oh my god.
Like Deep Nest is a horrifying place.
It's like the zombie apocalypse for bugs, and it is terrifying.
You say that like
That
the
is most
affection isn't
haunting
going
description
around.
of anything I've ever heard in my life. Zombie apocalypse for bugs. Fuck
And
that.
that's-
Again, you say that
That's-
like there isn't the plague of light going around.
Yeah, that's separate from the radiance too. Like that's its whole own thing.
Let me see if I can find an image for you as I pass this on to Sam over here because I believe I'm done here with it.
But if you're gonna pass it on to me, I guess I really should calm down and take a breath. I got this. Let's climb to the top of Celeste. This is such a beautiful game that means so much to me. It's one of the games that I heard a lot about when introduced to indie games and platformers, and as soon as I picked up the controller to play this game, I did not put it down until my thumbs bled. This game is brutally difficult with its precise platforming, but it feels so fluid, it's so tight, so good. The platforming is precise, and it begs you, it urges you to learn it and go faster and get better and upgrade your skills further and further as you reach the top of the mountain. And the journey that you go on with Madeline, with Theo, with her other self, with Grandma, Granny, and Mr. Oshiro. Fuck you, Mr. Oshiro. Also, rest in peace, Granny. I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for this lovely young trans lady climbing to the top of a mountain and facing off against her anxiety, her self-doubt, her self-loathing, her disbelief in herself, and coming to terms with it. learning that it's okay to fail as long as you're willing to give it another climb. And who knows, over time, you might just make it to the top. And it's a sight to behold. And that's before even getting into the B-sides and the C-sides and the post-game, which is huge. It is ridiculous. The story alone in the main game is amazing. And it begs you to give it a challenge. To take its mechanics, put it to the test, and beat everything. Get all the strawberries. Get all the cassette tapes. Beat every B and C side. And speedrun your heart out. This game means a lot to me and a lot of other people. People have made so many video essays on this game alone. And the music and the story behind it for the developers and for the characters and everything around this game is just celestial, godlike. It's an amazing
This game's
game.
been on my back burner way too much.
Same.
mean-
Like, it's been kind of on the front of my back burner since you put this forward on the OST list, but it definitely looks like something I want to play.
It is an amazing game filled with a lot of subtext. You look in the Forsaken City, all the background images, the signs, how this used to be a place where people lived and is utterly destroyed, unrecognizable in terms of living. Then you go to the old site, a place of actual ruins, which don't really have an explanation much. You get to the Celestial Resort in Chapter 3. Fuck you, Mr. Oshiro. Clean up your own hotel. You get the Golden Ridge, the flying up, the Mirror Temple, where you actually run into, as the community calls her, Battleline, Reflection, the Summit. It's so powerful. And I'm sorry I couldn't beat Chapter 9 myself. I had to apply assist mode to get the final bit of the story and to give Granny her final hurrah. I loved it.
nice.
It means a lot to me. And so many others.
For good reason.
I cannot sing its praises enough.
It also is just a very pretty game too, especially when you get to the ruins part. Like that section of the game is very pretty.
It is very well done. It is a masterclass in game design,
Art design, story design.
what have you.
It is one of the best indie games to come out during because it came out in the 2010s, right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's one of the best indie games back when indie games were like really popping off. Because that's when you had that, A Hat in Time, and a couple other really big things.
And also it was one of my first examples of like actual trans rep before I even knew about myself.
Well, that's
Because,
always
yeah,
nice to see.
the main character is trans. It's very much confirmed in the epilogue as well, with where you can see a small trans flag on her desk as well as a bottle of medicine, most likely estrogen. But yeah, I think I should move on to a game that more people might have heard of. I sung my praises of Celeste. It is an amazing, a beautiful game, but we really should move on. And what better way to give you a taste of my own tastes by introducing you to a game that reintroduced me to an old franchise that I used to like. Fire Emblem Awakening. I have played a few Fire Emblem games, not all of them. It actually started out with me as an 8-year-old playing the Game Boy games, Fire Emblem 7 and Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. I had no idea what I was doing, nor did I read the story. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was interesting. And every now and then, I would wonder about it. As I grew up, because I lost the games at some point, I wanted to see if I could find them at some point, see if they were actually good, see if other people knew about them. And then when the 3DS era came around, and I start hearing about this game called Fire Emblem Awakening, I start to get a smile. Because one of the games I remember fondly from my childhood is getting spoken of in high regards. And this game itself is being spoken in high regards. And so when I got my hands on a 3DS and this game, I pop it in to play it, and God, what a journey. This game has given me so much inspiration for story, for characters, for heck, even myself. As one of my favorite characters and class types in the game is the dancer, and specifically Olivia, as she is such a sweet, kind girl, is really shy, but is a fabulous dancer, and her relationship with Donald is so cute, I swear. It is amazing, and she is one of the first instances where I fell in love with a dancer that wasn't Ninian and Nils. And in fact, even inspired a design that I asked a friend to put together for me.
Very nice.
But besides going into deep detail of the game, even before I knew about like intricacies and reading into stuff, I loved this game. Its music was amazing. Its story was okay.
Simple but effective.
It was simple but effective, yes.
I was say a bit more than simple. It was a little convoluted.
It was okay, especially for getting me back into the Fire Emblem franchise, which I absolutely admire it for.
Not only that,
and
saving the Fire Emblem series. If this game failed, Fire Emblem was done.
Yeah,
Save it in spades. It did.
It absolutely did, and I appreciate it so much for that.
Oh, this was my introduction to the Fire Emblem series.
Listen, the game gave us Tharja. I can't be upset.
I was gonna say Tharja's my girl from that.
I'll be honest, there isn't I don't think there's really a single character that you can get in your squad that I don't like.
The only one I'm not really crazy about is Frederick. Well, that's kind of his character, is to be like the stern old man.
Yeah, but
not
even
old man.
then, I still like Frederick.
I was okay with Frederick, but it was actually Fire Emblem Warriors that made me actually like him, because they gave him one of the best lines in the game.
Which was?
When he's about to kill either one or a group of people with his with his special warrior attack, he yells, "Pick a god and pray."
He says that in Awakening.
Yeah, he says that in Awakening. It's his crit.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, fuck yeah, that's right. Yeah, Frederick is badass.
Pick a god and pray.
That didn't take much convincing.
But yeah, besides all the other characters, which are also amazing. I mean, I already mentioned Donald, and Pan, and Tharja, and everyone else.
Honestly, this is just a good tactics game on its own, but what really makes it so much better is all the support conversations you can have. Even with characters you don't think would expect would work off each other.
Yeah.
True, but don't interrupt. Stop doing that.
You did it too. Anyways, Olivia inspired so much for me, myself, my personality, my interests, and even helped inspire me to make a monk subclass for D&D 5th edition. But yeah, that's all I have for Awakening. Although I could keep going. Would you like me to keep going? I can keep going.
We've already been going for over an hour.
Pegasus Knights are also one of my favorite.
Shut the f up. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Then continue. I think it's your turn.
I'm sorry. I had no idea what you were doing there.
I tied Sam up, kept keeping her quiet so she doesn't interrupt you.
Okay. Hey, stop it. No. God. Anyways, I think it's about time I actually got my actual favorite game on here. I had to take that from Sam because I was afraid of it because I knew I had to have it. But if I'm being honest, Sly 2 Band of Thieves is honestly my favorite game of all time.
I knew it was going to be Sly 2 at some point.
It was either gonna be first or I had to save one of
fucking
my
damn
other
it.
picks. Oh my god, Mordred, I'm so sorry. I had to. I did not think I was stealing this from anyone.
We played this on the channel a while back. I like this one. I think I
Solid
preferred I think if I remember, I preferred the first, but this wasn't bad by any means.
I prefer this over the first one, mainly because the first one was basically just a typical collect everything platformer with a thieving coat of paint. This one makes you actually feel like you're a thief. All the missions you're going into are just preparing for the big whole operation. Like the first one just always being a recon mission, trying to scope out the land, see what's going on, what the big guy's up to, while every other mission is just about setting up for the big heist. Hell, even like while you're doing recon and stuff like that, you might just be traveling around the big map looking for clue bottles that actually just get you more abilities, or just finding old treasure and loot from guards just so you can afford all your new abilities on like the thief net. All the while you can just do like so many more jobs that, again, as I mentioned earlier, just culminate in like the big like heist at the very end of each chapter. And some of these missions can get pretty weird and interesting. Like one of the missions, you could just be escorting a water bug all throughout the level just to bug a guy's room just to get intel. Yes, you are bugging their room with a bug. It's funny, it's all hell. Another mission, you could just be rigging a train's controls so it just shoots out and just breaks into a prison wall so you can free your friend. A third, you could just be kidnapping bear cubs just so you can break a cage so the handcart you need for the final heist it can be used. Like all these weird different ways you could just be doing missions, all still somehow connecting to the big job at the end of each chapter. And all of this on its own is good enough, even before you get into the more interesting plot this game has. Unlike the previous game where there's just like a bunch of big baddies, just like in each chapter that you just eventually deal with, this one, they're all a lot more interconnected if you are actually paying attention to some more background detail. And it's not long before you get to the end of the game, and you realize all those details are coming all into play in full force and just smacks you with like a whole payload you weren't even know was coming. All the while, you not even realize you've been fucking manipulated this entire time. It's a good game with a lot of variety in gameplay, with enough intrigue, twists, and just to keep everything interesting as you go through. I just would not mind playing this game time and time again just because I like everything you do in this game.
Replayability is always nice.
Like, it's not even like you're playing everything all differently. It's just like, what you do is fun enough.
Don't forget collecting the pieces of clockwork.
That's like the main plot of this whole game, where it's like the whole driving force of why you're going after every one of these guys. Not even realizing that by the very end, you're doing their dirty work for them.
Still, it's satisfying.
I do have to make a note. I love Sly Cooper and the story behind all the games, and I wish I could have it on my list. However, I have not played them. I own the first 3, I just have not played them.
I would recommend doing it. Like, the first one gives you like a big rough understanding, while 2 has like, in my opinion, like the best story of them all.
Look, if there's anyone who has inspired my design, it is not only Mr. Sly Cooper, or not only Olivia, but it is also the slyest of Coopers.
Now I need to find a replacement quickly.
As I, at the same time as the dancer outfit, I needed my thief outfit.
I also forgot to mention that, like, unlike the previous game, you actually play as all 3 members of the gang. You have Sly, who's your typical sly, nimble thief who can just get around everywhere the easiest. You have Bentley, who is your brains of the operation and just has all the most gadgets to actually get more jobs done, like bombs and sleep darts. And then Murray, who is also the muscle and just beats everyone to hell with his brutal strength. Like, you have a lot to work with in these games.
I remember some of the Bentley stuff being a little annoying.
Well, yeah, he's easily the weakest of them, so you're gonna have to approach his stuff with a bit more finesse.
Well, more of his little weird minigame kind of stuff he's got going on.
The hacking stuff. Again, like, he's the tech guy. He's gonna be doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's honestly what I think one of the better thieving games out there. That, Chris, if you haven't played, I think you might like it at some point as well. It's simple and cartoony, but I think you might like it.
Well, that hasn't stopped me before. I've enjoyed games like Wind Waker.
Well, with that, I pass the torch off to you.
And,
Unless somebody
thank
else
you
has something to
kindly.
say.
You put a
Speaking
torch
of
in here?
Wind Waker,
Oh, look, there's methane everywhere. We're only
Let's
on we're only on
nervously-
round 2, so we gotta keep moving along here.
Yeah,
Indeed we do. And for my second, I'm going to posit one that I think it, at the very least, one or two, maybe all of my compatriots may likewise appreciate. I'm going to go with Monster Hunter World. The Sin Squad began in Monster Hunter, and it's been a staple series among our group since then. Between the High Five, who serve as our core members, we've got innumerable hours betwixt all of us of this series under our belts. But so far, none have provided quite the cooperative gameplay spectacle of World. Being ported over to consoles with a bit more processing power meant Capcom could go a bit more nuts with environmental details and story elements, and it shows. You know, the new World is richly detailed and interactive, brilliantly showcasing, the different biomes featured in the game. You've got the verdant greens of the ancient forests, the arid splendor of the wildspire wastes, the almost otherworldly beauty of the coral highlands, the decaying unease of the rotten vale, and the sheer power of the Elder's Recess. And these places do an impressive job of silently telling a story of this world almost better than the members of the Research Commission who have actual spoken lines. The story following the Elder Crossing is gripping and genuinely interesting. The Research Commission follows the mass migration of Elder Dragons from the old world to the new once every 10 years. It's an intriguing plot, and the answers found along the way are actually cool and play into the environment extremely well. It also adds to the stakes when the bigger and more cataclysmic Elder Dragons make their presence known. All of this gets compounded, at least in my opinion, improved with the addition of Iceborne. The new monsters added some interesting gameplay mechanics, and I was happy to see several of the updated roster additions. It was also nice to get the completed story of why the new world was being existentially threatened, and by what. And they also rolled out the old layered armor feature that debuted in Generations Ultimate with the expansion, and it was extremely nice to personalize your hunter's appearance that way. Monster Hunter's always been a fun series with, a cartoonishly diverse number of ways you can play based on your preferred combination of gear. World took that dynamic and brought it to new heights, elevating the experience to a completely different level. Some of my fondest memories with the Sin Squad have been made in World, and it's got me on the edge of my seat for what we all know is coming next.
Eagle Dragon Weapon, anyone?
Oh god, fuck that thing.
I've
fight it.
never seen it. I'm sorry, we're just not.
I want to fight it.
That thing is fucking cursed.
It is cursed.
Look, it wandered into the Badlands. We are going
Wow.
to the Badlands, and one of the new Apex sounds robotic. But also, I just want to say, I also love Monster Hunter World and Iceborne. It was the first Monster Hunter game that I finished. I've been playing since 4 Ultimate. However, World is where I got my hunting boots dusted off and really worked in.
Yeah,
We finally picked up your stride.
Yeah,
I
originally
picked up my
started-
stride.
Yeah, I started in Try, and I admittedly was not very good at that, and I didn't touch the series again until 4 Ultimate, which is when we formed the squad.
Yep. I do have to say though, with the inclusion of the Iceborne, 99% of it, positive improvement.
Agreed.
Yeah, Iceborne was definitely
98.
needed.
With one exception, the over-reliance of the Clutch Claw.
Not even just the clutch claw, but specifically the softening of monster body parts.
Yes, absolutely, that.
Yeah, because the whole Safi Jiva thing practically relied on that.
And it even got worse when it came to Fatalis.
Oh, I can imagine.
It was so heavily overused that it became basically the gimmick of Iceborne.
Not
And-
only the gimmick, it became borderline mandatory when it got to the later challenges.
Yeah, and that's something I don't mind a gimmick if it's not over relied on or over focused on.
Agreed. That was a point they could have improved on, and me personally, at least for the couple of final fights, namely Alatreon and to a lesser extent Fatalis, I don't like enemies that can straight up cancel your fight through RNG. Like everything up until Alatreon was, in my again, and with the sole exception of the over reliance on the Clutch Claw, very, very good and well presented.
And also the crossover events that happened.
Those
with
were
The
good.
Witcher,
Behemoth was the best one.
Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, no, I have applied the Witcher Dual Blades skin over practically every single pair that I use.
I did not like fighting the Leshen, but having
Leshen's a bitch to fight.
having a humanoid creature opens things up a bit more, and I like that.
It does.
Yeah.
Also, just like how Behemoth just made Hunters a much more strategy focused as a fight, which was honestly quite welcome and different from a Monster Hunter fight.
It also gave us the great comedy that is Monster Hunter crossing over with Monster Hunter.
Indeed. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it back to Mordred.
I'm very curious what Mordred's round 2 will be. A good round 1 start, in my opinion. BTS, you gonna read that?
Would you like me to? It might
Hold
be
on.
too long.
Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
Well, I gotta take us to the world of Pokemon with my second pick. I bring to the table Pokemon Emerald. Gen 3 is the set of games I beat first with Sapphire. Same with Ruby. The story actually held my interest with not just the graphics, but the Pokemon and the easy to figure out gym mechanics. I remember restarting my playthrough roughly 20 times until I finally lost my copy. The Battle Frontier and everything was just so enthralling.
I wish the remakes got us the Battle Frontier. The Battle Pyramid alone was probably one of my favorite facilities. And
Rest in peace, Battle Frontier, really.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but
Battle,
Emerald
like,
was really tough.
for those who don't remember the Battle Pyramid, basically imagine if you had a little mystery dungeon mode as a side mode. You basically were just dungeon crawling, fighting trainers, and trying to survive as you make your way to the top in like a randomized maze. It was honestly a lot of fun for a side thing.
I know it gets memed on all the time, but I love the trumpets. It's so iconic to the Gen 3 sound and its feel all over. It's so open and inviting and exciting and enthralling, and it makes you want to keep going. 10 out of 10 would doot the horn.
I will say just also as a one more thing, it also has one of my favorite optional things you can do when it comes to going for the legendary Pokemon. Like, it really annoys me that for the Gen 4 things, they said, nah, they won't figure this out, and yet they gave us this the generation prior.
Yeah,
Like, we
you
couldn't figure
Braille.
it out. Hey, I was able to figure it out without the internet.
I can't read Braille.
I can't
I
read
didn't either. I asked my parents about it. I was like, what's this? And they had a little book for it. I was like, and we just were able to translate it slowly but surely.
That's awesome.
I mean,
Yeah, it
we
was
did,
actually a nice little. It's like a nice little memory I have of this game.
I have a nice
Sounds
recent
very
memory of getting Registeel for the Nuzlocke.
My favorite one was I was familiar with what EV training was back then. My brother, who also had the game, was not. And I replayed and restarted several times to get multiple luxury balls from the sunken cruise ship. So I caught a bunch of cool stuff in luxury balls, and when I was all done with it and I was effectively done with the game, I traded that stuff to my brother. It didn't take long for pretty much all of his friends to know that anything of my brother's that came out of a black Pokeball was about to make them have a very bad day.
The raid boss has shown up.
Insert Cynthia's piano. Dun, 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 dun.
It's childish stuff that I really make me love Pokemon.
I mean, if you want to talk about childish things, look at the brotherly feud between Kyogre and Groudon, and the
Oh,
mom,
God.
which is Rayquaza, which is like, hey, settle down, you two. Fuck right off.
Still my favorite legendary trio to this day.
And though he's
They're
not the
great.
champion, Gen 3 did introduce one of the best champions, Steven Stone.
Big up, Steven.
Unfortunately, this
I
is the
just said
generation
that I know he's not the champion in that game.
He is, however, a super boss in this game instead, which I will still appreciate.
He is a solid pick. He's a very hard boss.
It is the one downgrade of Emerald reducing Steven.
You really have to steel yourself for that fight.
Shut the hell. All right, you're getting wrapped.
I didn't have
No,
a stone.
no, yay! I'm not alone.
Anyway, I'm going on to my round 2 because
We could be burning time.
we do be burning time. We've been burning daylight, and there's not that much of that these days. Finally, back to my turn again. I'm gonna go. This might be a bit more of a niche pick, but also not. I know at least one person likes this game because you know what? We used to play it all the times. In fact, it is how we met. I'm going with good old Halo 3.
Oh my fucking god, just hit me in nostalgia more.
Come on, this is how me and Deadlock met. Not only that, I also met his brother, who I'm good friends with too, still, and MJ. We used to play this all the time when we were young. I wasn't quite a teenager when we met. I was probably like 12 or 11, around that. Can't off the top of my head. Probably more than any other game. I spent so much time on this game. I wish I knew the exact amount of hours I spent between all. The campaign, which I love the story, continuation of the second one, which pretty much starts right off where the second one ended. You crash land back on Earth. I think Chief's dead. He's not. He's just in armor lock. He's fine. One of the best campaigns, just in general. May not be terribly long, but it was fun. Every mission was unique. Every location stood out. Characters were good. We lost a few good men along the way. Rest in peace, Sergeant Johnson. Spoiler, I guess, but I mean, you had like 20 years now.
Fuck you, Guilty Spark.
Yeah, exactly. 343 Guilty Spark. They knew what was coming. The campaign was great. You had so many variety of weapons. For the most part, you're fighting. You had the elites on your side this time, so you didn't have to fight them. It was nice to kind of switch it up to the brutes, which they were in 2, but they were different in 3, and I thought they were more fun to fight in 3. You had the grunts and the jackals and everything. Individual levels were all good. You had the little skulls you had to go find for achievements, and basically as like a bonus kind of like unlockable you can do for the campaign to make things harder. Ends pretty well. It pretty much ties all of the knots that it needs to for the most part, aside from the like very end where Chief just kind of disappears. Like you destroy the flood. They're dealt with. The war between the humans and the Covenant is taken care of, and pretty much everyone that needs to die is dead. That everything's taken care of aside from Chief just fucking off in the end.
Again, insert the piano from here. Dun 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 dun.
Pretty much, it is an iconic theme, and not only that, the memes of people singing the Halo theme in bathrooms. Like, not only
still one of the best main menu themes ever.
Oh yeah. Not only that, the community aspect. You could say what you want about, gamer communities and, people saying slurs and whatever. You get that sometimes. I'm not going to deny it. That happened. I didn't really remember experiencing it as a kid in Halo personally, but maybe it happened. I just don't remember. When you got good amount of friends together to play the custom games, that's where the real fun was. Because there was so much variety in the different maps and so many different little mini games you could play that people would make. And the amount of creativity people had during it was insane. Deadlock actually made one that got passed around a good amount too, based off one called Jumpman, where it's basically a giant obstacle course.
Yeah, like there was basically a whole bunch of them that other people had made. I decided to just make my own because, like, hey, this is a cool, fun idea.
There are other people that could make better creative games. There was the Halo on Halo, which was basically just a long racetrack with a guy far in the middle trying to shoot rockets and sniping at you. It was just so much fun with the different things that people could do. I met so many good people playing it back then.
Like, once the Forge mode actually came out and actually gained proper with the first DLC, the floodgates had opened when it came to custom games, and things just got incredibly, like, they had like literal racetracks that people were able to figure out before like it was ever a game mode of its own. They had freaking Duck Hunt where everyone was the ducks and the sniper was trying to kill them before they got to the end. No, there was even a mode called Fat Kid where it was literally the infected was basically unkillable, slowly making its way through the corridors, and you try to break out and try to get away from them. There was just so much creativity going on back then as well, and there was always something fun to do.
I really wish I had gotten more into these games. I had a brief stint in Reach, but it takes a lot to get me interested in an FPS.
I
If you-
do want to note
It's the
that
custom games that sell the games at this point for me.
back around the time of Halo 3 and Reach, I did not really have all that much access to the internet. And so I would just be playing these games with some local friends, the best that I could make. Back in middle school, by the way, it's Halo, who cares?
Yeah.
But I remember just sitting down on the couch, going through co-op hard mode on Halo 3, and it's just spending a good time together. Staying up till 8 a.m. and then passing the fuck out because I was the last one to sleep.
Oh yeah, it was a
But-
good time.
It was still
It was the best
a
of
fun
times.
game.
The good old days.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, I can't reminisce too long here, else I'll make myself sad. So Peter, take it away.
All right. Well, speaking of feeling sad, I know a game that makes me sad. A game that really touches my heart, my cold, dead heart.
My
that game-
breaky heart. I'm sorry.
Is my favorite Pokemon game on a narrative level. That Pokemon game is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon: Explorers of Sky. There was a few Pokemon games that made my consideration, but I managed to limit it to 2 options that I'd possibly end up choosing another one later, we'll see. But this is what perfection looks like. Marvel upon it. Be in awe of it. I've always tried to enjoy Pokemon narratives, but nothing compares to what this game, and to a slightly lesser extent its predecessors Explorers of Time and Darkness do in terms of plot and character. Very few pieces of media can drive me to tears, but this game gets me every single time. I adore the character writing in this game. They're just Pokemon, sure, but my god do they feel so real, relatable, emotional. The storyline they're all tied together with is so compelling and engaging. The dungeon crawler gameplay, it's fine. It's nothing to complain about, even if it's not really my genre. It does the job, and it ties the narrative well together enough. It's fun to recruit some Pokemon to your team over time, bring them along for side quests, and gives a lot of replayability. The way you get to choose your character via quiz is interesting and unique. And letting us choose our partner Pokemon who serves just as much as a main character as our own is a fun little gameplay element. But the real heart of the game is the character work. I can't even begin to truly get into Truly without major spoilers, but I'll give it my best go. Starting off, this is one of the few times where you get invested in your player character in a Pokemon game. Gone are the mute protagonists with no real traits who just go yes, no, yes, no. This is truly a game where the character you care about, you're playing as a character you care about. You aren't just an empty shell. Sure, you can project yourself into the character, as all good RPGs do, but you do have a prior history and ties to certain characters that gets unveiled over the course of an Amnesia storyline done right. Amnesia isn't treated cheaply like a story gimmick in this, they do it right. But more importantly than your character is that of your timid partner Pokemon, who forms the rescue team of the guild with you. Your character inspires them to step up a last after carrying out in the past, and now, together, despite your amnesia, you help them and they help you, forming a deep bond investment in the character, regardless of what Pokemon you chose them to be from a list. But there's more characters. Wigglytuff, the leader of the guild, is a great
Yumta.
character, explored in Yumta, is explored through minisodes with more depth, but is plenty interesting in the main story. He's an interesting individual with unique personality, always memorable and distinct. You'll never forget about him. Chattel. Chattel is Wigglytuff's assistant, another distinct figure. You might dislike Chattel at first, but over time, you come to understand and respect him. Great character who's always keeping things running. Bidoof. Bidoof is the previously newest guild member prior to the player's arrival. He too keeps a journal at his bedside. In a special episode, we discover a secret of Bidoof's wish that keeps this character fascinating and always a friendly face regardless. And I would be smacking myself if I didn't mention these two. Dusknoir and Grovyle. I hinted at Grovyle in my grass entry during the grass video. But I won't say too much about them for spoiler's sake, but these two are some of the best written characters in the Pokemon franchise. Not just the games, the franchise. Both are absolutely peak and just add to an already great cast of characters. But moving on from the characters, the narrative of the game, it follows an amnesia storyline initially, but soon goes deeper into thievery, the distortions of time itself, and the events of the future world you've come to love. Treasure Town is a perfect setting, with iconic locations like Sharpedo Bluff and more to eternally cement it as a great setting within the Pokemon franchise. I won't say much more about this game, because I want you to experience it for yourself. If you value storytelling that drives emotion from character, go play this game. It's genuinely a masterpiece, and I don't say that often. My worst complaint, you might want to cheat the gameplay with action replay codes if the dungeon crawler gameplay gets boring for you, but that's the worst thing I've got to say. You know it's gold. Go goddamn play this game. And we were both in tears by the end of this game. It is just art. It is straight up art. I don't say that often. It is art.
Rare for a Pokemon
Samuel,
game to elicit those kinds of feelings.
I don't know if anyone wants to ask anything or anything.
No, I want to kind of keep. I want to kind of stay blind to this one more than some of the other ones so far.
There's only
Dams in. I
one
haven't
thing I
played an
can
MP yet.
say. Mirror Move is overpowered. I only say that because I started off as Torchic.
I have
Yeah.
one thing to ask.
Mhm.
Are you okay?
No. No, I'm not. I replayed this year.
Well, it's a new year. You get to replay it again.
Oh, God. Yeah.
We're out of
alright.
I would
Rowlet
play
in this
with it,
game,
man.
but can we get this man a Zubat to pet?
Alright, well, let's dial it back from the narrative-focused RPGs for a minute. Let's go with something new, shall we? I'd like to talk about something that I don't really get to talk about all that much, even if it's a huge franchise in my life. Let's talk Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Not gonna lie, I was very torn between this and Ultimate Custom Night to represent Five Nights at Freddy's as a franchise on my list. But nostalgia wins out. I adore FNAF 2. I remember the entire prelude to this game, all the teasers, the Mangle and Foxy teaser especially was very memorable. I will forever remember the build-up of this game. The first game was... It's a great game, but it's one of those cases of a great sequel. This game was hype coming out not long after the first major groundbreaking indie success of the first game. Say what you will about the community or anything on top of that, or the overabundance of the franchise. It is genuinely a wonder that this franchise took off for reasons I'll get into later. But it really cemented the idea that FNAF wasn't a one-hit wonder that could be a franchise. This game really screamed, we're in it for a long haul. You've got incredible withered redesigns of the FNAF 1 animatronics, providing such a distinct and unique damage design variants. One of my personal favorites being the Faceless Bonnie, being the one of my favorite designs in the franchise, actually. Scott Cawthon cooked with this game in its designs. Toy Bonnie's really creepy, especially with its eyes. The puppet's got a unique atmosphere about it. It's a very different creation within the universe. And then you've got the Mangle, one of my other favorites. Such a great spin on Foxy that will always be unique within the franchise. And at a gameplay level, FNAF 2 is a harder game with more to do and more to keep track of, really building upon the basic foundations of the first game without letting the player long-term get too familiar and have too easy of a time. There's new tricks to learn to survive, there's a good little gameplay loop, and it's a pretty difficult game, honestly. The atmosphere of the game, despite its limited gameplay, is also incredibly impressive. Having this ominous, tense feeling despite its vibrant and fun setting keeps the game ever having this uneasy feeling of this magical place, a kid's pizzeria that's really creepy and giant and ominous in its own regard. The larger design of the pizzeria really helps change the setting too, with larger corridors down your central view, which is really ominous and foreboding with animatronics coming in. It's just got a good atmosphere about it. The 8-bit minigames help flesh out the story this time, lore and world building in this game, which helped cement the game's franchise as a mystery box that felt worth solving for all these years and continues to do so. It's built a legacy of theories around the game for a whole community, keeps an engaging theory community on YouTube that has allowed multiple YouTubers to take off, and continues to this very day in the minds of all those that engage with it. It's always been a kind of brain teaser franchise, which keeps it engaging. There's never, like, even when there's no new media coming out, there's always something new in the community to discuss. Overall, I want to take a quick second to just talk about FNAF in general. FNAF is truly something special that changed horror itself, creating mascot horror and inspiring theory communities like never before. And I credit FNAF 2 a lot of that. It's the game that told us that the first game would not just be a one-hit wonder. Scott Cawthon, the franchise's creator, was due to quit game creation after many critical failure games, until he turned the critique of his characters looking like animatronics into a strength with this franchise. He turned the harsh words that hit him into his greatest success, and there's something really inspiring about there for anyone with even the slightest hint of a creative motivation. The critique isn't there to end your career, it's to help you to grow from it. Constructive critique can make you create something greater than ever before. I'd like to credit Scott as a creative inspiration for me and many others who grew up with this franchise. Absolutely nothing but respect for the man in that regard.
Agreed.
Fans did not deserve the hate he got later.
Yeah, well, as I say, I have great respect for him.
Listen, outside looking in, it did feel like he was just kind of throwing out game after game with very little change, because mechanically the games aren't that different, but if you actually
They were
play
always that
them...
simple in the first-
let me finish talking first. But mechanically, if you actually play the games, they are different. Like, it is this, at least for the first two. I can't remember anything past the first two. They are...
It's up to 4, and then sister location, you really start getting different gameplay.
Yeah, the first two are pretty similar, you know, don't let them get you. That's basically the whole thing. But they add the timer you gotta keep track of, they add the mask you gotta put on, because you're out in the open now. There's a lot more rooms to check, there's a lot more robots to keep track of. So there's a lot more...
Work on Foxy.
Yeah, there's a lot more, like, the mechanic that he started with was built up upon. So there's a lot more to keep track of. So there's a lot more there than people, again, outsiders looking in, would initially realize. Plus, two was the one, you said, yeah, that's when it created the toys, right? That was the toy animatronics? Yeah, that kind of...
Wyvern.
Toy Chica kind of started a whole nother fan.
Moving on.
Does Chica anyone? I'm joking.
Moving on.
I do have to say, coming from a storyteller, absolute respect for Scott Cawthon.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
From what I kind of
Especially
gather,
since, as I said,
it seemed
was
like he
his
kind of
career
bullshitted his way to success a little bit.
Yes, and I absolutely love that.
But this is also
I mean,
the inspiration for a lot of new games, though, that hides their details in the background more. Because, like, not gonna say he's the first one to do it, but
He isn't,
but he's one of the ones that kind of inspired it to happen more.
Yeah, it is. It's truly an inspiring story when you look into like the details of, you know, he wanted to quit game development and FNAF was his last shot, basically.
I like the story of someone saw one of his games of the characters. He said, what did they say? They said something like
It's like an animatronic.
it looks
That
like
was literally what they said.
yeah, it looks like a scary animatronic or something like that. Or
He
they
turned
said
that into his greatest success.
yeah.
He was actually haunted by the design of Bonnie in FNAF 1 in his nightmares.
I couldn't believe that
I heard
Bonnie,
story
out
that,
of all
like,
them, Bonnie is
yeah,
the scariest looking.
Yeah, like the story I heard was like he would occasionally fall asleep when designing one of them, and then he like just to wake up and see like the animatronic face in a jump scare like freaked him the fuck out for a while.
We're still going long
Keep
on
that
time,
nice
so
and
I
short
will
and
be
sweet.
taking over here. I'm sorry, Peter.
That's fine. I wanted to keep these short and sweet. That's why I went for two
TikTok.
small ones.
I'm just gonna say now, Foxy's still my favorite of the other robots. Anyway,
Freak.
Mangle. Anyways,
so time for my round 3 pick. And I was gonna say, Peter, you're getting a little depressive here with these last two. I think I'm gonna follow suit though, for once. And I've talked about this game before, and once again, you can kind of blame Deadlock for me getting into this one. I'm going into... God damn it. Anyway, Dark Souls. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. I've played all the Dark Souls games and a good bunch of the Soulsborne games at this point now. played most of them. The only ones I haven't played are Demon Souls and Sekiro. But Dark Souls 1, it may not be the best out of all the Souls games, but it is my favorite. I've talked about this game before. I love the atmosphere this game has. I love the way you can travel around, making things so interconnected. And then people complain about the second half of the game, but the fact that they're kind of separate domains for each of the Lords of Cinder. I like that they're all separate because it's like, hey, this is my area. Like, I rule here. And it's really good. I like all the different bosses they got going on. Of course, I've shown him off before, Gwen as the final boss, who I kind of like that he's not as strong as he should be because he's kind of been fueling the fire with himself and burning so much around him. Then there's my favorite boss, Delic. You already know which one I'm going to say.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, Artorias. He's
DLC for the win.
Yeah, he's kind of led up to before. You fight his dog, Sif, the Great Wolf, and Artorias. Grey Wolf, whatever his full title is.
Grey Wolf.
The good boy.
Yes.
Delic, you want to post that one GIF you like to use?
Yes, don't worry, I'll just be using this every time Sam steps out of line.
Wouldn't be the first.
But Artorias in himself is a great boss. He's definitely the best boss in the game, and you could argue in the franchise. The game as a whole, it has this eerie, depressive feel about it. Everywhere you go, it's either on fire, depending if you're in the Down Under. I forget what that area is called right off the top of my head.
Izalith.
Yeah. Or it's just falling apart in gray. Where you fight Sif is a bit more green because it's a bit more lush, but it's still not that colorful. It has this gray fog.
It's dark.
Yeah, it's the Dark Woods, I think is what they're called. Just you never really feel joy. The only time you feel good is when you defeat a boss, and depending on the context, you may still feel terrible about it. Especially with Sif. Sif especially.
Sif isn't the other one. Quelaag is another.
Quelaag you feel bad for after you beat her because you feel good yeah, I beat her, and then you go find her dying sister who's a literal saint trying to help and who is blinded, and Quelaag's bringing food and souls to her to keep her alive.
And also Patches.
Fuck, I'm an asshole, aren't I?
Fuck Patches. I kill Patches every time.
I didn't know who Patches was till after I beat Elden Ring.
Look, the only reason I keep him alive is because he still gets me good stuff. That's the only reason.
He gives shit. I don't care what anyone says. I kill him every time. But I love the world building. Chris, I hope you have gotten the chance to start playing Elden Ring, because if you like it, I really would love to play Dark Souls 1 with you. I love the game. I love the setting. I love the also customization you can kind of do with yourself. You can do different kinds of weapons. You can worry more on magic if you want. You can make yourself as bulky as you want. I mean, of course, you got to focus the stats in it. You just have a lot you can do, and the lore stuff. Again, it's a lot of background details, but I like how it's done in Dark Souls.
Respectable choice.
Very respectable choice.
I mean, I'm gonna say it for every game I'm picking here, but if you have the chance, play these games. You should.
There are favorites for a reason.
The third one,
that's kind of what the list is just for each of us to put forth 5 glaring recommendations.
well, so far the only games I haven't played on this list are coming from Peter.
Man, I should really play Pokemon Emerald. Damn.
Please tell me you've done Explore the Sky.
No, I haven't played that one yet. They're all.
We are putting that on your list of games to play.
Yeah,
Clearly you haven't looked at my list. It's already on there.
Also,
Get
Mordred,
on it
no
already.
disrespect. I am playing Emeralds again.
So
Too many times.
I could probably go on more about Dark Souls. I love it to death, but I'm gonna pass it on to Mordred.
Okay, so since Sly 2 was stolen, I ask you hear me out.
Okay, I'm very curious. When someone says "hear me out," I'm very curious where this is gonna go.
Deepest sword.
As we move into the realm of Final Fantasy,
Let's go.
Oh God, which one?
This could be very important.
There's only 16 to choose from, right?
There's only 16 to choose from, and there are
way more than 16.
there's
I know,
16.
that's a joke.
There's 16 and there's wrong
like
answers.
I said, hear me out.
Yeah, I liked
As
it.
I choose 15,
Okay.
What do you mean hear me out? That's one of the most liked ones.
I was confused for a second.
Two I like, but I know it's terrible and it's the only one I played.
This game has palpable bro energy for days, and I fucking love it.
I do want to play this one. I still gotta play 9 and forward.
I've backseat played while AJ has been playing this, and I've really enjoyed what I've seen. The dynamic between the 4 main characters is like everything I want, like in a group of friends.
I've only heard good things about it, but I know there are people that don't like this game, so...
Yeah,
I know, like, there's a...
This game is just beautiful. The character development, the scenery, the enemies, and even the weapons.
God, I fucking love Final Fantasy.
Yeah, my only gripe with this, and it's a very minor one, either make Noctis's boots taller or his pants longer. He's got like 1.5 inches of exposed leg that just isn't being dealt with at all.
That's his fashion choice.
People don't like it because on day 1 it played like absolute shit.
Ah.
Where have I heard that before?
I
Did
can
they-
Yeah, just about everywhere.
I was gonna say they nuke it. Like 14.
Send Bahamut in to clean up.
But it got so much better up till the release of the Royal Edition.
I really want to play it. I like doing things in order. I know none of the games are really like, they don't touch it all, but I just really like doing things in order.
You can play them in any order you want to be fine.
I have a
just like-
steelbook copy of it, and I haven't really touched it past the first hour.
I just like playing back forward because you deal with the old bad, like worse mechanics. You get them out of the way. That's part of how I like to do
All
it.
the fishing mini games, the camping, the car, just holy fucking shit, I love it.
The car.
Yeah, the regalia is really nice.
I lost the car.
I like how
That's one of the best cards out there.
Final Fantasy is real.
I lost the car.
You mean you lost the car?
I hopped on a chocobo and never looked back.
What do you mean you're at soup?
I mean I'm at soup.
How did you guys get out of the cave?
But hear me out on the character that sold this game for me the most.
I wish I could, but I know nothing about 15 aside from the car and the bros. I don't even know the bros' names. So whatever you say, I'm just gonna take your word at.
No, I would make a joke and say one of the other characters' names, but I actually don't know their names by heart. It's been years since I played it.
Oh, okay. Yep, I get it.
Oh, right, the princess. You've mentioned this actually.
The Oracle.
Potato. La fire person.
I introduce Lady Lunafreya Nox Floret.
She's pretty.
I have nothing but good things to say about intelligent blonde women.
The
who
Oracle,
tried
who was
to
also
corrupt
a princess before her home nation was besieged.
And also a fiance.
I was just saying that does kind of look like a wedding gown.
them. No, that's how she normally dresses.
Oh.
Guess who she's marrying?
Me.
Kinda.
Welcome
Yeah,
to the
like,
wedding.
like in a sense, you're not wrong.
It's Noctis. The character you play as.
Yeah, she's the main character's fiance.
She was the childhood best friend and fiance to Noctis.
She's playing that childhood friend tag.
I know. They almost never get the guy.
But this one did.
Damn.
And then everything changed with the fire like that.
And her death
Oh,
was the
shit.
turning point to the rest of the game.
And then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Damn, I hope that's not a huge. I hope that's not a huge spoiler because I'm gonna be pissed about that now.
I didn't know. I was just saying that as a joke.
Oh my god, you didn't know.
I didn't.
He didn't know, Chad. He didn't know.
I mean, it was just a joke.
It's comments, remember? This is a YouTube video.
Yeah, and it goes on live, so there is a chat. It's premiered, so there is a chat.
Hi, chat. Hi, sleeping Sammy. Probably sleeping anyway.
Sam, wake the fuck up.
The emotions are amazing in this game, just oh my god.
I need my beauty sleep. Shut up.
I gotta get around to it. I gotta play Final Fantasy 9. You know what? That's what I'm recording after I finish. Did I select another game? If I didn't select another game, I'm playing 9 next.
Unfortunately, it's not even the first time Final Fantasy made you care about a female character before offing her.
Damn.
I mean, you're
Damn.
not wrong.
Damn.
Also, Sid,
How can you do that to Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 6?
I
is
guess
an old man and best friend to the Noctis' dad.
in every Final Fantasy universe, Sid is the only constant.
As a human character, anyways.
And grandfather to the most memed on woman.
Damn right.
Yeah, she does kind of get meaned on a lot, doesn't she?
Again, I don't know anything about 15, unfortunately. I haven't played it yet.
I would be lesbians for her.
Something about that sentence made me laugh.
I'm already lesbians for her.
Her outfit is not very conducive to her job, though.
It's very conducive to my emotional state of being.
I'm sure it is. It's emotional.
Is it
too.
safe to post the picture?
Maybe put a spoiler on it, just in case. Because now I'm curious, but...
For Cindy? I think
For Cindy?
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Is this the character I'm thinking of that someone put in... Yeah, this is the person someone put in my waifu Smasher Path that I did the other day.
Better safe than sorry.
She's
Oh, yeah.
basically Sid, a girl, also granddaughter.
Nice. She was a smash.
Good.
I would hope so.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, she's basically just a pinup girl, but also, at least in terms of looks, I can't say for her character because I don't know her character at all.
I mean, yeah, she just definitely reminds me like some of those like people you would see on like those.
She's the
mechanics
grand-
channels
She
or
is
something.
lovable.
She's the
Besides,
granddaughter-
nobody ever plays Smasher Pass who considers character.
I do.
I mean,
Some do.
yes, but also she's the granddaughter of Sid. She's a damn good mechanic.
That she
I would
is.
hope she is. Like that is a legacy you do not abandon.
Well, now I have two
Yeah,
good
but-
reasons to play Final Fantasy 15.
Cindy is the only person that Noctis will let put her hands in his engine.
She can rev him up anytime.
Oh, and you took it too far.
Oh, so that's too far.
That is all I have
Double
to
standard.
say without spoiling too much.
You can be my wingman anytime, you
I
say.
appreciate you not spoiling it as much as you could. Because I want to play this one, and I like playing these as spoiler-free as possible. So I personally appreciate that for this one. That's the first entry from anyone other than Peter that I haven't played yet.
I would totally be gay for her, no homo.
Oh, hold on.
But yeah, the scenery is chef's kiss.
I've seen some of the
Agreed.
It's
the
Final
scenery.
Fantasy. They do environments pretty well.
They do
It's Final
almost
Fantasy
everything
on a
pretty well.
next-gen console. They did amazing.
I mean, I got lost. And that's for a good reason. I like exploring. I like getting lost.
I also get lost, and I know.
That's how I lost the regalia. I got distracted.
Isn't
have
it
it on
marked
speed
on your
dial?
map, though?
Yes. I wasn't gonna walk to it because I lost the chocobo after.
How'd you lose the chocobo?
I got down and it went back home.
Oh yeah, you don't own the chocobos, you rent them.
And there's a
Yep.
timer.
Yeah, there's a timer. So I went as far as I could away from the regalia and realized, oh, shit.
Good job. We're gonna
That's what
move past
happens.
this while Sam's stranded out in the middle of the arid desert.
Well then, con su permeso, Doc, I'm gonna go ahead and cool Sam back down by taking us to a slightly cooler locale. Because for my round 3, I'm putting forward Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Yeah, so if there's any history or culture that can square up with pirates and tangle for my favorite, it's Vikings. Largely owing to my own familial history and my status as Aesatru, I tend to linger with interest on anything with a Norse-inspired twist, and that is exactly what Skyrim brings to the table. The titular setting is the northernmost province of the continent of Tamriel. It's a rugged and cold land elevated by towering mountains that kiss the skies themselves. And its topology and resident Nords are clear-cut references to old Scandinavia and its Norse citizens. Their culture is one built on honor and battle, and their immortality on Earth is achieved through the songs and sagas of their deeds when they were alive. Even the Nord afterlife of Sovngarde has its roots in the Old Norse tales, a decadent and beautiful paradise of feasting, fighting, and fellowship reserved by the gods for the Nords and nobody else. But this afterlife, and indeed all of Skyrim itself, is under threat by the return of the dragons, ancient creatures from eras long past, long thought to be extinct. When their leader, Alduin the World Eater, unexpectedly returns after a 5,000-year hiatus, the dragons seek to regain control over Skyrim that they had in the ancient past. And the only one who can stop them, the one they fear, is you, the legendary Dragonborn. And this isn't your dad's Dragonborn from D&D, though I suppose if you make an Argonian character, you can make it look like one. As the Dragonborn, you can effortlessly learn the language of dragons from ancient word walls and combine these words to form shouts that can be wielded against your enemies. And there are many enemies, not just the dragons. Conveniently, there are just as many ways to end lives in Skyrim as there are lives to be ended. Melee or ranged, mundane and magical, and all points in between. The sheer number of possibilities and differences in gameplay that those possibilities create make for some good replay value. And the sheer number of side quests and things to explore ensures that you could be at it for a very long time. And even now, 13 years after its initial release, I'm still finding things that I didn't see or know about the times before.
And that's not even including the massive modding scene.
I'll say there's one good thing in my opinion about Skyrim. Most people know I'm not a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls game or just Bethesda games in general.
Yeah, I kind of figured I was losing you with this entry.
But there's one thing that I think that they did really well with Skyrim, and that is that it is open world. Delek knows I'm not a huge fan of open world, but I think the size of Skyrim is pretty perfect. I think they got the general size of the land very well.
It's a nifty little sandbox, yeah.
It's also like you can go like not even 5 minutes without finding some location of somewhere or another.
Which helps
Like you're always
because
gonna be
that's
able to
usually
find
the
something.
that's usually the problem that open worlds have is you could just go and there's just fucking nothing. But
Yeah,
Skyrim does a good job at avoiding that problem for the most part.
But then there are little things like, even in certain houses or certain dungeons, there is a method of environmental storytelling that I haven't seen in a lot of other games. Like there was one in the Dawnguard DLC where there's I think it's an Easter egg to, I want to say Castlevania 2, wherein when you go into, I think it's Lord Harkon's personal chambers, throughout the strong boxes hidden in there, there's a ring, a nail, a heart, an eye, and a rib, which are items that were in Dracula's castles in Castlevania 2.
All right then. I mean, when you have a huge world like that, you might as well put little nods to other things there.
Yeah, and then there's another one where they had a wheel of cheese with a wedge missing, with a little black, I think it was like a pearl or something, in the center, and then they had 3 things of garlic, and then a larger yellow object, and if you like took a step back and looked at it down, it looked like Pac-Man gobbling up pellets.
Going off of a point that Doc said earlier, this is one of the open world games that I can really get lost in. And in fact, I got so lost in that game that I beat the game and didn't realize I beat the story.
Oh, gee. Yeah, so it's gotten to the point where I have logged so many hours into this game and beaten the story so many times as pretty much every, like, character archetype you can think of. I've just started, like, spicing things up at this point by throwing, like, weird little roleplay things that limit how I can play.
But it still allows you to kind of just do goofy shit like this. Like, there's plenty of freedom in actually how you express and how you approach things.
Oh, absolutely. I've lost count of how many bandits I've flung into the air on the Mistwatch drawbridge.
This is a different conversation for a different video. We're going long already, so we're barely halfway past, so we got to move on.
Then I'm gonna go ahead, take this torch and just.
Alrighty, I'm just going to go take something that Doc rather did earlier.
I'll deal with it later. Just finish your sentence.
I'm just going with one of the first games I ever played that I actually did to completion, Crash Bandicoot 2.
I like the Crash games. This is the classic
Hey,
right here.
We didn't expect him to show up.
I was
please,
going
he
to
always-
add that.
Mordred's gonna have a problem with you by the end of this video.
Did you just sniper twice?
Ha! I don't. Depends. Was it Crash 2 or was it Crash 3 you wanted to do?
Crash
I said
Bandicoot
was.
2
Yeah, it's okay.
And
So
two?
strikes back.
yeah, lucky you asshole.
Start to begin.
I'm not trying to do this on purpose, man.
I somehow don't believe you.
How is I don't know Mordred well enough to be able to do this.
Well,
Make your point. We're on a crunch.
fine, sure, whatever. Like, this is
Nice reference.
honestly just like one of the oldest games I've ever owned, and it's still one of the ones I come back to every now and then, whether it's this or the remake. And it's just always a fun time. Simple, typical 3D platformer, going down corridors, get to the end of each level, get a crystal on the way. You can probably beat this game fairly quickly. But what honestly makes this more compelling and fun for me is the completion aspect. Not only does it require you to be a little more skillful than the other games, just like as a normal platformer, like there's death platforms that you can only access if you make it to them without dying a single time, which is honestly more reason for you to actually be somewhat decent at this game. But then you get to how the game designs secrets, and this is one of my favorite games when it comes to secret design. None of them are ever like the same, but every time you see them, you actually feel real smart for figuring it out. Like, they're not exactly obvious or just in your face either. They just require you like a bit of careful thinking to actually see them. Like, for example, why is there a bunch of stairs made of nitro crates that you know if you touch will explode? Why is there just like a bunch of random platforms that you could just completely ignore and just be fine and just like not even do that? More importantly, another one is like, why do these planks still stay out? Every other time they broke every single one. Why did these stay around? There's like so many little secret things like that throughout this game, and it always just makes you feel smart when you actually catch onto it and actually figure it out. And you need to do this in order to actually complete this game. There's just so many ways you can actually just get to the end, and I just love how much every single time I get there, I just platform my way all the way. It's just fun. Every single time it's fun. Even if I know these secrets ahead of time, I'm always just love how they are like put there.
Do you know about the hidden lives in the hub world?
Oh, that's another fun secret also, but I always feel so bad for doing it.
Did we do that when we played?
I think I showed you that one too. Like, for those in the not know, in the second second hub, one of the things you notice is your new riding companion, Polar, a little polar bear cub that is just chilling out in front of his first level. If you jump on top of him and flatten him enough times, you'll get a bunch of free lives. There's no indication of that. It's basically just encouraging you to be cruel to animals. I don't know why.
It's encouraging to build because Crash is a bit of a bully.
I mean, he is. He's a bit of a crazy man, but let's be honest. He gets his comeuppance in those stages also when he ends up getting flattened into rocks or frozen in ice.
You can also say he gets his
Or just
comeuppance.
blown to pieces.
I mean, most of the time,
blown
he
to
gets...
pieces, that Polar is just fine, and his trousers just fall right on top of him. It's like, oh, there goes Crash.
They were not...
And that's
Honestly, yeah, this is a franchise that AJ has touched. I personally have not very often.
It's real easy to get into. Like, even if you don't like it, you'll find out very quickly if you'll like this game or not.
I played Crash Wrath
back in the
Cortex recently, and I would go back and play the older ones because they're better, but I would also try to go for the 100% completion because now I feel like I can do it.
Like, there's no time relics in this one either, so if you're not a fan of
Thank
like, the more
God.
speedier things you need to do, that's fine, unless you're playing the remake. But again, completely optional for that one too, unless you want an achievement or something.
back in my youth, my younger days in the PS1 era, my cousin was the one who actually owned the PS1 and the Crash series, and I just loved either watching him play or trying to beat the first level myself.
The first level is always easy, but the one thing I like about this one is it also has a very clever secret of its own. Hidden within it is something called the Blue Gem, which you need in order to actually get secret paths later on. But there's no obvious way of doing it. I'm not sure if this was actually in the original, but in the remake, if you make it to the end, it will have a box tally of saying you got this many out of 0, which is your hint. What do you think that means you have to do?
Don't collect any boxes.
Not break a single one, and that's really kind of mean when there's a wall in front of you later on in the level that you can get around, but it encourages you to spin. Like, there's clever secrets all over this game, and that's just another one on top of it.
If you want to find out more secrets, either watch my old Let's Play of it or go play it yourself. We gotta move on, so.
We do have to move on, so Sam, I pass the torch to you.
All right, well, no photos, please. As my next pick is Guilty Gear Strive. This game was the one that actually like got me into fighting games and try to get good at one for once. Like, I've always toyed with the idea of playing a fighting game, never really grasping the concept of how the flicking your stick it inputs into certain commands, and I could never figure out how to do that until this one cute little bean inspired me to sit down, put the controller in my hands, and fucking learn.
Yeah, go on about your trance rep.
God, did I learn to play Bridget. I love her too much not to just put her on this list. And the game itself isn't all that bad. Ignore the issue with the servers. That's a different story. But the rest of the game is also really fun. The music is fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah, one of the best soundtracks overall.
Oh my god.
Watch
Like,
our
call me the
OST.
disaster of passion, because holy shit. That's a Strive joke for you.
Did you get good, Sam? Did you get good?
I loved the subhuman self.
I don't know.
Anyways.
There's some other people that I think got better.
Yeah. Fuck you, Doc.
Eventually, I'll find a fighting game that motivates me to get better than casual.
You probably like Guilty Gear if you found a character you like, but me and Sam were playing, and I just picked up a character, and I was like, all right, let's do this. And then I just started winning. I had like a 20 win streak at one point between Sam and Yeti.
It was terrible. It was great. I had so much fun.
I did.
But I actually did have a lot of fun. But I literally picked up this game long before I figured out anything about myself, truthfully. Same with Celeste. And just to see how far I've come in not only my transition, but also playing this game, I just get a smile every time I see that yo-yo flinging, Roger flippin' bounty hunter herself. Brisket, bridge, bucket, baguette, budget.
all
Call her what you
the
will.
nicknames.
Look, we're running on a budget, okay? Don't sue us.
No, she's right there. Anyways, that's my entry for one of my last AAA games on this list. So considering we are tight on budget and we do gotta conserve our energy for future tasks, why don't we turn this into a new run? Probably try out something different. Explore what it means to actually slay the Spire. I
Good one.
fucking love this game. I have always been a fan of card games since I could remember, starting with Yu-Gi-Oh! This one game was so fun. I constantly pick it up and try a new run. Yes, Silent is my highest ascension one. Go figure.
Same.
But this game is just so addicting. It's what actually made me want to give roguelikes a try. And I found a genre I enjoyed, thanks to Slay the Spire, which I just played because I was looking for a card game. And holy fucking shit. I mean, what else can I say about this game besides...
Yeah, there's a lot of bird enemies in this. And...
Well, also, there's the ritual potion that... And look, the story might not be the greatest thing. The music might get a little draining at points,
It's fitting for what it needs to be.
but it's fitting for what it needs to be, and it's so fun and great. And I absolutely love playing Slay the Spire. I want the board game. I will get the
good
board
at
game.
defects.
Oh, I can help you. I'm a Section 7 on Defect.
Oh boy.
Yep.
I don't really know anything about this game. I know Sam loves this. I know other people do. Visually, it's never caught my interest, but I know people like it.
Pretty much no idea what this is.
So this
Well-
is a roguelike card game deck builder where you try to traverse the spire, reach the top of it where you fight the heart of the spire itself,
Maybe.
and hopefully beat it and escape.
Think of it like trying to take down the Tower of Babel, because that's essentially what you're trying to do.
Pretty
Basically.
much.
So what, you
And-
use like the cards in combat, or is it like you?
the cards are your combat.
The cards are your combat.
Oh, okay. So kind of like
Yeah.
how Chain of Memories was.
Kind sort of,
Kinda.
but differently. It's more like they are your both your attacks and your defense, because your enemies are going to attack you, and you also still need to survive. There's no health regen.
Interesting.
Yep. If at the very least, I recommend giving it a try. If you'd like a coach, I am available. I helped out mi hermana Baffy the Sappy play their first run of Slay the Spire, and they beat it on their second attempt with a relic that I did not expect to work.
Yeah, it's
Praise-
random whether all the pieces come together or not.
Praise
unfortunately.
be to the dome!
Whatever that means. Now Baffy has made a way to work themselves into my video.
The runic dome is a relic in Slay the Spire. Anyways,
Like I said,
Here I thought you were just shitting on all those Helix kids.
nope. Praise be to the dome of Slay the Spire.
we were talking about this before. Peter hates the Helix jokes.
It's not a helix, I swear.
No, I know you're not, but what Chris said. Anyway, we gotta move on.
No,
Again,
he's-
we are
he's
pressed for
just angry
time.
Rallich's generation didn't have any fossils.
True.
Fair.
Very true.
Fair enough. We are pressed for time, as I keep saying, so Deadlock, please.
If there was ever a game that just sells on presentation alone, it'd be Okami. It should not be surprising in the least bit. Like, just the visual art style alone is so unique amongst all these games. Hell, even just like this was basically my introduction to most Japanese mythology, whether it's Orochi, Ninetales, or even just like the various demons, like the ones that are made of wheels. Like those, like, what is that? I need to know this.
I was saying, this is starting to look eerily similar to your OST lists.
I'm sorry if I can't help it, because not only is the visuals gorgeous, like how it even incorporates into like the main gameplay mechanic of actually like painting on the world to actually do things. Like you paint around like plants to bring them back to life. You touch fire and connect it to someone else to set things on fire. You could just draw a line over an enemy to cut them open, or even just draw a circle with a stick and make a cherry bomb because kaboom.
Cherry bomb! Anyways.
Like you just look at like the visual presentation, like even like the main field you go into, this is how it looks before when it's all cursed over, and here's how it can look after when it's all cleansed. Like it's so stark and visually breathtaking, you have to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And as Doc over there mentioned earlier with like the whole OST business, there is not one track in this that just doesn't live rent-free in my head. Whether it's from the very beginning of the main menu all the way to the end credits, there's just not a piece in here that I can just say it's not worth it.
Respectable choice.
It is a good game. I really like Okami. I haven't played it for the channel yet, but I have played it on my own time a while back. Good game.
Yeah, I do
Very
like
much.
games where like the the environment looks one way before you solve the problem, and then another way after. They did that in the Saboteur very well, also.
And it just keeps getting more visually distinct after that. Like, the fields I'm demonstrating here is just one thing. One of the more stark differences later on is the major city of the continent, where it's like coated in like a green fog and plague before it becomes bright, sunny, and cheery when you actually solve it.
Oh, I'll bet that's a nice switch.
And now it's getting a new game, and I guess we can call it a franchise now.
Yeah, there's a reason when the sequel was announced at the Game Awards, people lost their shit.
Well, no one saw that coming, because the last one we got was Okami Den. That was already surprising in itself. The game hadn't been touched in like 20 years, aside from just re-releases.
And I look forward to this one.
Very curious.
I really should play through it because I've heard nothing but good things, with the exception of Orochi, about Okami.
The only reason people don't like that one is because it's a long fight you do 3 times.
I don't mind. I still like that fight.
No, I like it too. It does get a bit old.
I mean, I would imagine that I also would enjoy it.
You probably would. It is a good game. If you like Japanese mythology or want to learn a bit of like vague Japanese mythology, it's a good way to start. It's not,
like,
obviously, it's not 100% accurate or anything, but like,
it doesn't have to be. It's just like an introduction to it, also, like it was for me.
yeah.
I just loved it from beginning to end.
And if you just like
Also-
playing as a wolf,
Also, still one of the best final bosses in any game.
Look, I love Twilight Princess for a reason.
I was gonna say, if you want to get your Twilight Princess fix.
Shut up!
So,
Shut up! Yes, I'm a furry. Shut up!
Well, to be fair, you are playing as a wolf goddess.
Mm-hmm.
she's a good girl.
Praise Amaterasu.
Move the stick along. You don't get to hold it anymore. Bad dog.
Okay, torch is why is the flame blue now?
I don't know. What'd you do?
Fuck it, whatever. Well, whatever the case, for round 4, I'm gonna put forward Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. Yeah, I love pirate history. The Golden Age has always been one of my favorite topics, compounded by stories of there being some strongly possible Welsh and Irish pirate history on my mother's side of my family. And with AC4, Ubisoft, love them or hate them, effectively cornered the market on what makes a good pirate game. The plot is a continuation of the overarching narrative of the Assassin's Creed series, telling the slightly fictionalized version of world history with the addition of secret societies and ancient technologically advanced civilizations. But Black Flag stands out in the sense that it's very much a pirate game first and an assassin game second. Protagonist Edward Kenway only really becomes involved with the Assassin Brotherhood late in the 3rd act of the game. He spends most of the time up until then trying to become the most successful pirate in the West Indies, and Yeah, there have been other installments in the series that I have legitimately enjoyed, but none of them have come close to Black Flag. And with that, Mordred, it's all yours.
All right, let's take this among the stars now in a galaxy unlike our own, and say hello to a Lombax and his mechanical friend.
Oh, this is
I
a good
bring
one.
forth Ratchet and Clank 3. Up your arsenal.
Oh yeah, this is
Actually, the subtitle of the game.
Yes.
Yes.
up your-
Amazing.
The previous game was called Going Commando.
Yeah,
they're all puns.
they're all
innuendos.
they're all very
Yeah.
very crass.
That's so great. I love that.
For example, one of the games was going to be named Enter the Netherrealm, but it was changed to Enter the Nexus.
Yeah, because that was a bit on the. It was a bit hard.
On the nose, a bit on the nose.
Yeah. But
And
I
up your
love
arse,
these games.
and all wasn't.
I just love these games so much for this simple premise. You get big guns, bigger enemies, and you just get to go with absolute mayhem on it all.
I only played the first one, but holy shit, did I have a fun time.
I haven't played these games yet.
They're all good fun. You'll love, like, you have so many different weapons you can just go to town with on enemies, and it's just always so satisfying with the mayhem you can create.
It's that good old PS2 3D platformer era.
It's not even that much of a platformer, though. It's just guns, guns, guns galore.
Yes, but the first one is definitely a platformer.
Yeah,
This
more than
game
that.
was arguably the best of its time with badass weapons that level up as you kill with them. The first
list.
game to have numbered health, too.
Well, yeah, because the health was just getting so much bigger because enemies were starting to get more ridiculous as well. You needed the health.
And then there was the collectible trophies that were of the game characters.
Like, for example, this bobblehead of Captain Quark, which you can order now online.
The hell up.
Oh, I love the humor of the game.
It's great.
When you collect them all and go to a certain room on the hub ship, you unlock it. The museum.
Hosted by yours truly, Captain Quark, at your
Fair enough.
service.
Sorry, the Insomniac Museum.
Yeah, that whole thing is just one big Easter egg. Like, you just get so much insight. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, in one of them, it was, like, the actual offices for the developers.
Which shows tidbits of info from the production of the game.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's cool. Seriously, if you don't love Ratchet and or Clank by the
Honest
end
to God, I recommend it.
of any of those games, you're not playing them right.
And I shall give them a spirited look.
I will play them soon.
This
Thanks.
entire list is making me realize I've not played enough games.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't mean to rush you, Mordred. Was there anything else you want to add?
Nope.
All
There's
right.
one thing I want to say real quick before this. Like,
All right.
again, the only
Kept
thing...
it simple for you.
Thank you.
The only thing I have to say is I just prefer the next game after for very obvious reasons. I would like to think.
Fair enough.
I like it. I'll see when I eventually get to it myself. Well, we're
Mordred,
pressed for
I think
time.
you're
We're
on
in a race right now. Mordred reminded me of something earlier, and I'm like, oh wait, I meant to do this one at some point. So you know what? I'm just gonna go straight into it, not holding back anything. I'm going right for Final Fantasy VI. I love Final Fantasy VI. It is my favorite of the Final Fantasies that I've played so far. It has some of the best story beats, very emotional overall. One of my favorite scenes is, if you haven't played it, during the play where Celeste is singing because they need a female role there. So she takes the role because the actress got sick or whatever, I can't remember. And then the whole song is she's singing the role, but she's also kind of singing about her feelings for Locke, the main male character. So it's a very emotional beat, like compared to any of those Final Fantasies before it, and only a couple after, as far as I know. None of them quite hit like this. There's also been a rendition done by, I'm forgetting his name, Jake something. I'll put his name in the on the video right here. Who basically did a cover. I think he's like a music editor. I don't know the actual term of it. And him and one other guy basically did a cover of it in the style of Queen, and it is amazing. I've posted it before, so if you listen to it, you'll remember. But
I mean, even with this game, like some people can hear the words via emotion.
yeah, and there are people that after I finish this that I've listened to opera singings of it. Some of it, one in Italian, one in English, and it was great. But not only that, to mention one of the best antagonists in gaming in general, Kefka. I mean,
Yeah, he's one of the best.
You want to beat this guy, and he's just evil for the sake of being evil, which sometimes you just need that. And he wins.
You just need a puppy kick villain.
And he just wins at one point. Like, you defeat him ultimately in the end, but like he's already done what he was gonna do. He's destroyed the world.
He won.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Cleanup duty.
Pretty much. You get rid of him, and then you gotta start repairing the world. There's so many good things like this. In the end game, you have like 12 party members or so, maybe a little more, maybe a little less than that, I can't remember. And by the end game, by the point where he destroys the world, you lose most of them, and you have to get them back. And by that point, you can already lose one of them, the ninja, if you do not do things correctly, which I did during my playthrough. Didn't realize I messed up and I lost him, so that sucked. Rest in peace, Shadow. But all their individual stories are really good. Some of them less than others. Some of them are just kind of tacked on. They weren't necessary, but yeah, they got a little something. But my favorites being Terra, Locke, Celeste, obviously, and the two brothers, Sabine and, I'm forgetting what his brother's name is. But, I mean, almost all of them have some really good story attached to it, and it's just worth it to play if you love RPGs.
I mean, the game is basically Terra's story. I would imagine she's important.
She kind of starts, like, her whole thing gets resolved towards, like, the middle end point. But between her and Locke and Celeste, like, those three are the most important. So, throwing that out there. Gotta throw it at Peter, because we gotta go.
Okay, let's go. We're gonna kick it off with an assassin game of my own, Dishonored.
Oh, I haven't
It's
played
a
this one
timeless
yet.
video game. It was released in 2012, but yet visually it's beautiful. It's got a distinct, timeless art style to it. It's immersive, grimy. It's a perfect way to portray a setting. Dunwall is just a great video game world. It's grounded in this sort of dark fantasy world. If other people would say praise Assassin's Creed, not naming anyone here, this is my definitive assassin game. You take on the role of a disgraced bodyguard turned assassin. Will you be a non-lethal hero or a vengeful anti-hero? How will your actions reflect upon those around you and the world around you? You take on the role of someone who literally impacts the world around you. The game's incredible chaos system alters not only the dialogue of those around you based on your morality, but the actions and motivations as well as the levels themselves. It's truly a game that rewards or punishes you for how you play, but never tells you how to play. It's your choice. Truly feeling like a game that rewards the player choice in an actual combat for a change instead of just narrative. Beyond the amazing art style and incredibly fun gameplay lies some fantastic world building, but it's entirely optional. You can spend hours reading all the papers, the books. You can learn about the individuals with a certain tool that you get in the game. There's so much to discover, but it's all optional. You don't get dragged into it. You just take it at your own pace. You can play free without any real care for the narrative, with the fun powers that keep the game replayable on a gameplay level. It's a rare case of a game perfecting both gameplay and narrative to me. It's incredibly fun to play, with both regards to a few options for replayability, collectibles and more, keep you engaged for multiple playthroughs. There's some great characters along the way. All the loyalists to the throne who join you in the cause are interesting characters with layers beyond what you'd expect from their first impression. But I want to bring special attention to two characters. Firstly, the main character of the DLCs, and an antagonist within the core game, Dowd. The assassin who sets your player character Corvo on the path is a deeply complex and fascinating character. I won't spoil the major details, but the DLCs are worth playing for Dowd's story alone. It makes for a great game with two very different perspectives from the main game to the DLC of what the character's stories are. And it portrays the story in a new light. Secondly, the Outsider, the de facto god figure of the Dishonored world. A mysterious, ominous figure that appears in a dreamlike world where the rules of the normal world do not exist. A fascinating, mysterious, and overseeing force within the world that has reached all across the world with his powers being granted to rare individuals who aren't interesting enough for him to visit, being obsessed with him, further fueling the world building of the Dishonored world. The game features an incredible soundtrack, having some absolute bangers like Honor for All and Drunken Whaler as memorable vocal tracks, supported by a great instrumental soundtrack. And finally, I'd like to say it has a pretty solid sequel too. Narrative is weaker than the first game, which is why I'm recommending the first game, but the gameplay improvements make up for it in the second game.
You know, it's a good game when the biggest complaint about it for most people is that it's too short.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's usually a good sign.
Yeah.
it is a truly a banger game. If you enjoy, messing around with powers, or you want to see.
But it's time for lightning round. This last round, everyone's gonna have to go quick because this went way longer
Well,
than.
Yeah.
Well, I knew it was gonna go
There's
long,
no
but
problem with this because I
Yeah.
really don't know my final pick, so I'm just gonna play it
Well,
safe.
you're gonna have to pick something.
I'm gonna play it safe. I choose Pokemon Platinum. So, easy my choice for the best main series game. Would have been, before it was cool to hate on the third versions, we praised games like Platinum and Emerald, so let's have a refresher on why Platinum tops every other Sinnoh experience. Here we go. Platinum fixes all the base issues of the base Diamond and Pearl game. Unlike future Pokemon games that stop this model of making a third version, you don't really get that anymore, sadly. We get more depth to Cyrus with his backstory presented. Fire types actually exist in the region now. Crazy. Wow. Incredible. Speaking of the decks, we get evolutions like Gliscor in the actual main game, not post-game. Get out of here, Diamond and Pearl.
Wow.
Wow. Almost everything Sinnoh gets praised for over the years comes from this game. Even Legend Arceus clearly takes heavily from Platinum, more so than the original duology of games. And the goddamn remakes that we will not name did not follow this masterpiece.
God dang Distortion World.
Pokemon
Oh my
Platinum is the
God.
perfect example of a Pokemon game to me. It's got a compelling narrative dealing with legendaries that truly feel like legends. You feel like you're encountering gods in this storyline. Dialga, the god of time. Palkia is the god of space. Giratina having resemblances and similarities to the devil itself, along with many other religious imagery. And finally, Arceus, the literal Pokemon world's creator's avatar in Monster form, is obtainable. There's such a sense of importance to these games, like they could have been the last in the franchise. If Pokemon had ended here, it would have been an incredible send-off to a franchise in my eyes. Not that I'd want it to, but it could have. Platinum delivers everything 4 generations that Generation 4 tried to do perfectly. The pixelated art styles never look better in my eyes than it does in Platinum. The following Pokemon in Amity Square would later lead to Heart Gold and Soul Silver's perfect Pokemon following mechanic. The environments, especially the previously mentioned Distortion World, are visually perfect. Everything visually about this game just works great. I love the 2D art style it has. The gameplay has perfected the Pokemon formula in my eyes. The Pokétch is a great utility, a bottom screen team tracker for your Nuzlocke and such. Everything feels responsive and engaging in Platinum, and the region comes to life more than ever in this game. I adore the Sinnoh region itself as a location. There's a bunch of memorable characters. You've got Looker, you've of course got Cynthia, the champion herself. Joining you in the Distortion World, she actually feels like an active part of the narrative, unlike a lot of the other champions or gym leaders and so on. She's actually doing something as a historian who's helping you. The music's incredible, banger soundtracks, not a single track misses. Great atmosphere to an already perfectly atmospheric Pokemon journey. And the major rewrites for Platinum from Diamond and Pearl to include Giratina as the focal legendary delivers upon one of the best moments in gaming history to me, where Cyrus, the main antagonist, is suddenly devoured and taken into this strange alien dimension where no other Pokemon exists by Giratina. Giratina is so formidable that he literally takes out the main villain temporarily in one of the best visual cutscenes in the franchise. Just a perfect moment my words can't do justice to it. I have nothing but praise for Platinum. As much as I enjoy other games in the franchise like Sun and Moon, nothing's ever topping this. Such a timeless classic game. Fuck BDSP, go play this instead. Do yourself a favor. Thank you.
I do have to say, it's also great that Azelf, Uxie, and Mesprit, the 3 side legendaries, are actually taking part in the story and actually try to help guide you through the distortion world, which I
mean,
find
they
is a
did
nice
help
touch.
you in Diamond and Pearl, just differently.
Yeah, but they take a more presentable role.
See, I like this one because this was my reintroduction to Pokemon. I took a hiatus after Emerald, and I never got into Diamond and Pearl.
Good game. Most of us, if not all of us, have played it. Well, we're, again, pressed for time. Good pick. I'm gonna move on. It's my turn. I'm stuck between, like, 2 games here. Alright, well, this one is one I know probably no one else has played, but I have, and I think this game deserves more attention. This is Echo Knight. This is a yes. This is a FromSoft game before they made it big on the PS1. It is I don't know how to describe it. Kind of a puzzle thriller, slightly horror game. So premise of the story is you are on your dad has died. He sent you or disappeared. He went to investigate certain things. Blah blah blah. You end up back on a boat that went missing some years ago. And your goal through this is to figure out what happened to the boat and everyone on it. Everyone's dead. So figure out what happened to your dad. The whole story goes along. You help all the ghosts along the way. As you help them, this is where I start to love it. You can see the interconnectivity between the ghosts. Helping some ghosts gives you something to help other ghosts, or you can't help a ghost until you do one thing. It is a big puzzle game. I highly recommend playing this. I played the whole trilogy of them. They're all great. I would love for them to make another game of this. But it's very somber and kind of sad throughout the whole game because all these people, they're dead. So you gotta go around helping their souls pass along, and helping them pass along helps you figure out the story of what happened. You end up finding out that Richard Osman took his family out here, and he found this red stone, and the red stone had the power to grant wishes, but it corrupted people. Richard used it, killed, and his family were trying. I don't know, I'm mixing up with the second game. Richard used it, basically killed a lot of people, including his family. Killed everyone on the Morpheus. That's the name of the boat. And yeah, you help unveil that secret. And the end is where it gets kind of interesting because there's 4 different endings based on if you help all the ghosts, if you give them all to the I forget what the character's name is. I think he's called the Oracle. I can't remember. You give them all the spirit orbs you get when you help the ghosts pass on, and if you don't take the red, because he offers you the red stone at the end, towards the end. If you don't take it, or if you do take it, gives you 4 different endings, which I like. Gives some replayability. It's very interesting, and I just think this game deserves more attention because it is just interesting. It is very atmospheric. I'll pass it along because I can't imagine, unless someone's got a question about something, I can't imagine anyone's got anything to say about this.
Yeah, personally, again, I haven't heard of it, but it's another one that I would be very happy to try.
If you like puzzle games, this is definitely a good one to play. I highly suggest it. It can be a little rough. It can be a little rough with the controls, but you can get used to them.
Then I'm gonna keep it short, keep it simple. So simple, in fact.
It's not your turn.
Oh, right, stupid. Never mind.
Yeah. Mordred, please.
So I'm gonna take a shot in the dark with my last one. I bring a Legend of Spyro game, but not one you expect. I present to you Legend of Spyro, A New Beginning. A retelling of Spyro's origin, a dragon. Set afloat in a river as an egg and found by dragonfly parents, his brother being Spark. You soon learn of your dragon heritage and go from place to place saving dragons.
This one I've heard of, and I don't know which one. I know this one has a bit of iffy history with some people, but I have not played them.
It does.
That's
the
why you
reviews
asked me for the title of this game.
Yeah, the reviews were mixed, but I don't know.
And
Offhand,
this, I
she-
believe, is the first appearance of Cinder.
That is correct.
It is.
Yep, it is. That is true.
It is her how she got introduced to the
Debut.
Spyro franchise.
This was my intro to the series.
That's fair. This was basically a new beginning for the series, so that's fair.
Roll credits.
It was honestly challenging, but in a good way.
Simple RPG-esque game of just Spyro growing up.
Gaining
Pretty
more
interesting.
elemental abilities like lightning and going to confront the corrupted Cinder.
Yeah, this is when they started getting a little more creative with Spyro, because before he was pretty simple from what I remember. I haven't played the games.
He was pretty simple, yeah.
Yeah, so start getting more creative with him with around this. This is the same time they were doing Summer Crash.
Look, this is the era where they were trying to give Spyro more story, and personally, for considering how simple the Spyro games are and how simple this game is, it does a pretty good job.
Plus, I had to show love to Spyro.
That's
Spyro
fair.
deserves some love. He really deserves.
I'm actually wearing a Spyro shirt right now.
I'll be honest, if you weren't putting him on here, I probably would be putting one of the first 3 games on here somewhere.
What about a Hero's Tale? No one talks about a Hero's Tale.
Since we had Crash and Sly,
Actually,
I
need to
had
be
to
putting
do
it
it.
That's completely fair. But if you don't have anything else to add, we are going to move on.
Actually, we need to replay
Tis
a
all.
Heroes Game, Sam.
All right, Chris, now
Right.
it's your turn.
Indeed. So for the final bit, I'm going to keep things simple. So simple, it's going to appear blocky because we're going Minecraft. No, so another title that the Sin Squad invested quite a bit of time into back in the day, and one of the leading motivations behind my acquisition of a 360. Minecraft is a game that looks simple and even peaceful on the surface, simple controls and concept, rolling biomes abundant with animals and resources to mine, and a slew of calming musical scores that seem determined to set your mind at ease from the outset. But in the darkness beneath the surface, and when the sun hangs low in the sky, the game reveals itself to be anything but peaceful. Skeletons, zombies, spiders, creepers, and endermen, among many other things at this point, own the night and the dark recesses underground, and they're quick to remind you that you're an unwelcome guest in their house. You're not without your means to fight back. Tools, weapons, armor, and militarized use of your constructs can tip the scales in your favor, but the enemy is everywhere, and always respawning, and there are only so many resources you can find before you need to branch out and risk intruding into a whole new nest of problems. They're also always adding new and interesting things, including items, animals, enemies, and even boss encounters. But what really does it for me is the sort of thing the Sin Squad always used to set about doing. Minecraft has the unique benefit of being a game that can include other games, from racing to custom challenges to faithful recreations of arcade platforms. You can make just about anything in Minecraft with a bit of imagination, know-how, and elbow grease. There's also the matter of super builds. Minecraft has a capacity for extremely detailed recreations of things, seemingly despite its blocky aesthetic. Historical buildings, pixel art, and massive projects that would make an architect gleefully wet themselves are just the tip of the iceberg. And in a setting with friends, the concept of making these things and surviving this world becomes far more enticing.
Someone even was able to they were able to play Minecraft inside of Minecraft.
Listen, after they made a computer, anything was possible.
Craftception?
Yes. Literally.
That's not even a joke either. They did that.
They
I
did.
am not surprised in the least.
It took like 200 hours to build the RAM alone.
Much.
I think.
Jeez.
I gotta wonder how people figured stuff like that out.
a lot of time and dedication.
I guess so. I hope they're doing good for themselves.
I mean,
Like,
I
this is a
still-
game that is literally worth what you put into it.
There's literally
Yeah,
nothing we
my-
can say
my-
about
my
Minecraft that has not
rudimentary-
been said.
Yeah, I have even to this day a rudimentary understanding of redstone, such that I can make my minigun and all of my trap doors and floors and everything, and that's pretty much it without a tutorial or a blueprint.
And I started learning a little bit of logic, so I can apply that to redstone, but boy, is it complicated.
Sam
It
can
gets
vouch
very
that I am an architect on Minecraft.
Very
I
mu-
make a lot of stuff.
I saw a
And-
little bit of what you did in the realm before it was closed.
And I bite off more than I can chew.
I still have.
like doing. Yeah, I do buildings with a Japanese aesthetic, and then I almost always put a Pokemon Stadium in one of our worlds.
I still have the
I'm
realm,
really-
but just closed it because no one was playing on it. So I still have it. It's not gone.
I'm really kicking myself because I didn't think about Minecraft at all, despite how much I play it.
Really, I'm surprised.
Yeah, all
Yep.
of my games have some kind of sentimental.
Let's be honest, there are
attachment.
just some that just slip through the radar because I'll admit, even like the Ratchet game, that would be up there with that was one of my favorites. I completely forgot about.
Yeah, I would.
There's
I
so
should.
many.
I wish I chose something else besides Echo Knight, but I haven't. I'm stuck sticking with it. But that being
I
said,
went with games from my childhood.
that is all fair. We all have our own reasons.
Yeah, that is always fair, but sometimes some just slip through the cracks of memory.
My
all
problem
but
is
two-
memory and too many options.
Yeah, like my biggest ones are ones that I either played with someone else in the room or just straight up played with other people.
That being said, we still gotta finish up. We got a little bit left to go. So Deadlock, please.
Indeed.
Okay, I have to ask this question. Does anyone remember like the hate that Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts got?
Yes.
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 Do you think it ever would have went well for them if they just went a GTA direction? I mean, it worked well for Jack and Daxter. I mean, like, I have to introduce it like this way because, like, I just have to illustrate just what a tonal whiplash this is. You have this colorful, bright platformer just about getting all the objects, and now here, this one just starts you off by thrusting into your future, imprisoning you for seemingly no reason, and then the game starts off at 2 years after being pumped full of the stuff that the last game said would kill you on contact. The game was already so unhinged. Like, with Jax going from like the nice silent protagonist, and now his first words are, "I will kill Baron Praxis." Like, holy hell, what a tonal shift this is. And like, everything is not like all foregone for the previous game either. You still have like your normal moves, attacks, everything is like still the same.
The concept of eco is still there.
Oh yeah, it's still there. Like green eco still heals you. Blue eco is making things faster, as well as all like the guns and stuff usually being powered by red eco and stuff like that. Or that no, sorry, yellow eco. Like all that's still there. You just now have the added benefit of guns and the dark stuff tainting you, basically giving you a Wolverine Hulk kind of power to really tear into the enemies with invincibility.
Sonic Unleashed would never.
Like you are just, it is just like crazy how much of a shift this game is from like its previous entry. Like, how do you do this and yet it's so fucking good? Like the game was nothing like this, and now all of a sudden you're just going through the big giant city, going on various odd jobs that are not exactly ethical in many situations, as you're just trying to survive. Like, how do you go about this? I just don't understand it. I just love it still to this day.
You know he thinks it's good because he cursed without censoring himself this time. Well, I don't know.
I've played like the first couple hours of Jack 2.
Like I said, with Ratchet and Clank, haven't played this one yet. Well, I haven't played any of the Jack's games.
I need to have you play the first game before you go into it, just so you can just see the whiplash.
Well, yeah,
for
I do
yourself.
that already anyway, so.
Look,
Yet. Keyword.
yeah, look, Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, and Sly Cooper are the three big heads of the PS2 era. Like, that's the face. Those are
Yeah.
the faces. You cannot.
They're
argue
the
with
big
that.
three.
I would
The big
honestly.
three.
I would throw
Much
Ape
like
Escape
Crash
right.
and Spyro were for the PS1.
I would throw Ape Escape behind both those. Just saying.
Yeah, Ape
the
Escape's
background.
definitely a good series
Yeah.
as well. But like Jack 2, I just keep coming back to because I know I'm going to have a good, fun time just tearing apart everything.
Yep.
Eventually, I'll play it. All right, Sam.
So with that, Sam, the stick is yours.
All right, I'll
Next
release
pick.
you. I'll release you from your bindings. You're allowed to participate again.
Okay. Well, you don't have to worry about me with this one because I'm just gonna bring it back home. As I'm gonna take it all the way back. All the way back. I'm going back to the very first game I ever played with Pokemon Crystal. This game means so damn much to me. It not like I said, it was my first ever video game ever. I played through this game so many times. I fell in love with all three of the starters. Chikorita deserves better.
Amen.
I grew up listening to that chiptune soundtrack, and it was so peaceful, so relaxing, so inviting and open to explore the beautiful region that was Johto and its Japanese aesthetic and culture and so much personality was put into just this Game Boy Color game. It's so good. The moving sprites that were introduced in that generation that I didn't know about when I was 4. I did not know about that. I just was playing the game. But they introduced moving sprites in that game. They had the whole second half, which was a kind of empty Kanto, which is pretty cool. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty cool. Your rival Silver, or as I call them, Aspart, is such a good antagonistic rival that you just don't see in the modern games. Or like, people talk about how great Blue is. Blue doesn't shove you. Silver does. And having Team Rocket be scrambling about trying to figure out how to bring their boss back. The story of everything. Yucine being there and so obsessed with finding Suicune and having Suicune show up near the end of your journey at Kanto. Having Red be at the very top of Mount Silver as a final challenge. All the battles and environments and the struggles you go through in that game, all in a small portable handheld console from 1998. I could not have asked for a better introduction to video games than Pokemon Crystal. I love this game with all my heart, and my first tattoo is going to be of Suicune. Absolutely.
Hot take. When you catch Suicune, you add the NTR tag to Yucine.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
High five.
That's some evil work right there. Jesus Christ.
To be fair, you deserve it better than he does.
I mean, you do, but still, that sentence didn't need to be said.
Also, I know Crystal is my representative, but Heart Gold, Soul Silver are such good representations.
They
It was
are.
a very
Such good
beautiful
modern
remix.
It's just
That's
too
really
bad.
Very-
It's too bad I hate Gen 2.
Well,
It's
you're
too bad
wrong.
Gen 2 hates Chikorita.
That's also
It
true.
does.
That's why I do it.
I always come back to Johto. I always come home. Because that's where my heart is.
Alright.
Won't ever forget it.
Good old Johto.
Wrapping up on that note, sorry to end it briefly, but like I said, we've been going on for quite a while here.
3 hours.
Listen, I knew,
these rankings.
yeah, I knew this was going to go long, so that's why I prefaced it earlier in the week saying, hey, this is going to be long, set some time aside for this. Peter, get right to it, please. Rank.
Okay.
right now.
God, yeah, that's easier.
Do we
said than
have
done.
to?
It is significantly
Okay,
easier said than done.
Oh God, I've got to be mean. Sam, I'm sorry.
Oof.
Respect.
I'm sorry. Crystal's a good shout.
I
but,
said
like,
respect.
I like Fire Emblem Awakening, even though I've never played it. I've only looked into it briefly, but all the others were just blanks to me. Either stuff I haven't heard of or stuff I haven't looked into.
I
So,
highly recommend it.
yeah, I kind of
I'm
just
pretty sure you've
Yeah,
heard
some of those
Crystal.
are really good recommendations.
Play Slay the Spire. Give it a try. Play through Celeste. It is difficult, but it'll.
Celeste is worth it. I can at least just.
I gotta get around to. I gotta get around.
I
Fire
could justify
Emblem
Slay the
Awakening
Spire
first of
too.
any of them, but yeah, no, it is what it is. Doc, you're gonna be mad at me, but you're next.
Why?
Mario's an instant. Just I don't care about Mario. Anyway,
Casual.
Halo
That,
3 's
literally,
good
that's
shout.
it.
Yeah, I don't like Mario. There you go.
It's weak.
There's my hot take of the year. Moving on.
I
Halo
agree.
3 is the best of your list. I respect Dark Souls, but I don't particularly love it. You picked a Final Fantasy I know nothing about. I only know the one with Tifa and all, so you know. And I don't even know what an Echo Knight is, and you just explained it to me like 20 minutes ago. So,
Shame.
you know. It is what it is. Chris, you're next. So
Fair enough.
basically I respect Shadow of the Colossus, I respect Monster Hunter World. I found Skyrim boring, I only had fun with the workshop. I do not care for Assassin's Creed. Minecraft saved your list, and that's why you're this high.
That's fine. I can't expect a British guy to like pirates and Vikings.
Hey, I like Pirates. I watched the Pirates of the Caribbean movies this year. But no, I just don't care for the Assassin's Creed franchise at all. I
Hey,
might
fair
get
enough.
around to it one
It's
day,
not for
but
everybody.
as I said, Dishonored's my definitive Assassin's experience, so
And I will be looking into that, make no mistake.
You will like
Yeah.
it. You'll like it.
alright, that leaves two, and I did have a bit of a struggle with positioning here, but Mordred. Hi. So, quickly rolling cool. I respect Silent Hill 2 a lot. One day I'll get around to playing it. Pokemon Emerald, yep, good shout. Final Fantasy, again, same problem with Doc, I only know the one, so it is what it is. I might get around to Ratchet and Crank one day, and I appreciate some Spyro rep out here, even if it's not a game I'm familiar with. That puts Dead at the top of my list. Deadlock, Hollow Knight, I'll get around to playing it one day. Slime
Later.
Series, I'll get around to playing it one day, Barbara's been begging me to. Crash Bandicoot, I'll get around to playing them one.
I
Jeez.
respect
Okami.
the silver.
Okami's great. I will play Jack one day. One day.
My list in a nutshell. I'll play it one day.
No, that's me on like most of these. It's just, oh, look at all this stuff I've not played. Who do I pick where?
I mean, that's basically what this draft list is. Look at all
Yeah.
these cool games we haven't played yet.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, which one do I want to play more?
Okay,
You know.
that's it. I'm done. Move on. Doc, hit him.
My turn. Okay, so I'm gonna go straight for it. I'm getting my vengeance on Peter. Not actually. You started off weak for me. You know I haven't played Mass Effect 2, and you bugging me about it actually always makes it drag it for me. Open Mystery Dungeon sounds cool. Haven't played it. Mixed on the Mystery Dungeon games.
I'll play it.
FNAF
Even if
2,
you have to cheat the gameplay, go play it.
FNAF 2, probably a really good game. Haven't played it. I do like the story behind it. But FNAF games, as of now, the idea bores me, but maybe when I play it, my opinion will change. Dishonored, I really want to play. That was probably, between that and Platinum, was the highlight of your list for me. Probably Platinum, because I have played Platinum. But Dishonored's not too far behind, but Dishonored's one of those things where I've been wanting to play it for years, so...
Go play it. It's great.
Yeah, I just bought it, so I will soon.
Do it. I'll be there.
After this is where it gets tough for me. I'm thinking I'm gonna put one or two people. I'm gonna put Briss here. You know I don't like Skyrim. It's not against you.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew I was losing you with that one.
Minecraft is great. I'm always on off with Minecraft whether I want to play it or not, so it depends on my mood really. I don't know anything about Black Flag aside from a pirate game in Assassin's Creed World. That's really all I know about that. I haven't played it yet. Shadow of the Colossus,
That's more or less all it is.
Shadow of the Colossus I like, was never one of my favorites. It was
Fair enough.
okay for me. Monster Hunter World, personally, I still... all the monsters kind of, in a way, blend together to me. because the core identity is fight monsters. So I kind of have a stronger bond with 4 since that's where everything started for us.
Fair enough.
So, not bad picks by any means, aside from Skyrim. But even that, I don't really dislike as much as I say I dislike it. I'm a little dramatic. We all know this.
Yeah. World was the game where the Four Lords became the High Five, so it's got a special place for me.
Yeah, it's completely fair. On to the next one though. Sam.
Hello.
You know I love Celeste. Played it.
Mhm.
Awakening is the first Fire Emblem I played, and I still think it's a great game out of the ones I have played. Guilty Gear Strive, I love beating your ass in it, so that's just fun for me.
Understandable.
Slay the Spire, I played, and it's just never been appealing for me, so that's kind of holding it back for me.
I can coach you through it if you're interested.
I don't know, it just never interested me. But
Okay.
Crystal, I like Crystal because it is one of the first games I played, but also I hate Johto, and everyone knows this.
Fuck you.
You're
For that
Fuck you.
opinion.
You're wrong. Boo.
Now going between first and second, I'm also gonna give Mordred second here. It's very close between the two. I have played Silent Hill 2. I know, I'm sorry, but I absolutely love Silent Hill 2. You know this. Emerald is good. It's not one of my personal favorite Pokemon. It's definitely up there though. It's not bad by any means. Final Fantasy 15 I haven't played yet, but I'm excited to play that one. Ratchet and Clank sounds good. Haven't played it. Same thing with Spyro, and especially with this one where it's a bit iffy from what I've heard. So it's a bit lower, but the story sounds like it could be interesting. So, but this one I'm giving to Deadlock because he really stuck to what I know of him. Like this is a complete and utter Deadlock list through and through. Not only that, I like Sly 2. I like Crash 2 more now that I've played Wrath of Cortex. I love Okami. I haven't played Jax 2, and I played a bit of Hollow Knight. While I didn't like it, I have been very clear that I do not like it. I know it is a good game. So I do not hold points against it just because I do not like it.
I can't say it's for everyone, but for the people who it is for, they love the hell out of it.
Yeah, so
you hold points against Johto. I see how it is.
that one's personal, okay?
He has a personal grudge. You can't
Oof,
hold that
looks
against
like
him.
it might be a sweep then for Deadlock.
We'll see. We'll see. It's still 4 more people to go. Well, 3 more people to go because he can't rank himself.
Well, Mordred is also the one going next.
Yep, it's Mordred's turn.
Well, that fact he's got gold twice now not involved, I will say that I am not petty.
But
I mean,
But you're not last.
I would say none of this is personal, but technically all of this is very personal.
Yes, it's just not a personal attack.
Yeah.
Nothing personal, kid.
Nothing
Unless you're-
personal, but this is extremely personal.
Unless you're Deadlock, apparently, then it might be a personal attack, but
Honestly,
physically.
Peter,
This is fine. I've won enough. It's fine. You guys can slight me. I'm okay.
He's cried.
Just gonna play my games. Fine.
Well, you got more
I'm
games
not
to
big
play.
into Mass Effect.
I'm holding in silent rage.
Like I told you, when I play it, maybe my opinion will change.
Mystery Dungeon was the saving grace.
I adore that game.
Well, maybe not saving grace. He's still in last place.
No, I was gonna get negative score. I just wouldn't even mention me if I
We're
didn't.
gonna
have to
take
say
points. We're gonna take your first place win away from the last
Platinum
ranking for the
was
last one.
solid, just not my favorite.
I think that was my safe choice. Damn it! I should have went for something else.
I was
Go with
debating
the
on
games
put.
you love.
I was debating on.
Choice.
I was debating
it
on
was a
picking
game I
you.
loved, but like it was like the safe, like mass appeal choice. I was like, yeah, people will love platinum.
Just
My-
go with personal choice.
See, that's why.
Notice
That's
how I
why
don't have a single Pokemon
Dishonored
game.
I respect, but I don't know a lot about.
I'll play it. Literally, my list is basically just game recommendations at this point.
I would like to think that's all of our lists.
I mean, for the most part, most
And
games on
FNAF,
everyone's
I'm
list, I
not
played at
big
least half
into.
on. I played almost at least 2 or 3 games on everyone's list except for Peter's.
My list is all recommendations except for Pokemon Crystal. Play Heart Gold Soul Silver.
And that, I mean, unless you just want to know how it was like back in the day, but I mean, we're all old enough to know what it was like back in the day.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm very familiar.
Well, Doc, if you got a lot missing from my list, go play Explorers of Sky next.
I still have my original copy of Crystal.
As do shit. I have my original red version.
I have my crystal somewhere too, actually.
Like I
I
said,
think I have a
Crystal was
gold
my,
version somewhere that I got
was my
many years
first video
later.
game.
Granted, I don't think I have a working Game Boy Color or GBA anymore.
I
got
definitely don't.
2
I do.
colors.
Chris
one
Buddy, I
GBA
must apologize.
Uh-oh.
And 1
Yeah.
SP.
It happens.
I feel like he's getting low ranks, but his list's not bad by any means.
None of these
I would
lists
really
are
hope not.
bad per se. It's just that you're choosing between 8s and 9s.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
we firmly established that with the last several lists, is you're not picking, like, winners and losers, you're picking whoever wins least.
You did snipe Sly 2 and Crash 2, but those were your saving points for me.
I did not snipe either of those things.
That was deadlock.
Mordred. Wrong list. Wrong person.
Oh, right.
So maybe that's dead.
So that's me off the podium.
Deadlock.
The sword over the sniper rifle.
Never mind, Chris.
Just
You're doing a
make sure
little,
we get the names right.
you're
Is
doing
that
a
what's
little better than
happening
we
here?
thought you were.
Hello and welcome to Mistaken Identity.
Sorry, got mixed up.
Okay, so who's the 4th place actually?
Long day, but Deadlock is 3rd.
Wait, 3rd?
Okay, so deadlock's 3rd. Chris is still 2nd. Got it.
Unless this is also being said wrong or something.
I don't know. Okay.
It's been
I
a
don't-
long day.
I don't know who. I don't know who's hovering over dead right now. Is that you, Deb?
God
No.
damn it. You see it, lol.
Okay,
Okay.
that is it.
Deadlock is 4th.
Okay.
Numbers.
What do they mean?
Number is hard.
The numbers, Mason.
Brain.
Exactly.
Matt.
I was tempted to put a
Brian.
call.
How do they work?
I was tempted to put a Call of Duty on here just for nostalgia purposes, but I didn't do
Oh,
it.
you would have been involved in my list just for that.
Let me guess. Modern Warfare 2.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what. Hey, it's not my fault. I was a teenager when it was, it was big.
Noob
I'm not-
tube.
Exactly.
I'm not saying. I did the same thing. The Thomas was my favorite.
It was good. I was a fan of the Scar.
Yeah, a lot of people were.
I don't
Mordred's
remember what my
safety from
favorite
Call
gun
of
from that
Duty
was. I
discussion.
just remember the previous game. My favorite was the MP40.
Sam 3rd. Solid list as always. It's just Guilty Gear and Slay the Spire aren't for me.
Respect. I know that Slay the Spire isn't for everyone, and Guilty Gear is, once again, not everyone's into fighting games. It took me Guilty Gear to get into fighting games.
What? You mean our personal favorite games for this draft list are biased?
No way.
What the?
Doc 2nd.
Damn.
Again, amazing list.
It's probably Echo Knight that held it back, I imagine. Yeah, I knew that was a bit risky, but apparently if I went with Super Mario Galaxy, that would have been a bad idea for Peter.
Violent. To be fair, it's better than the other Mario game that you listed. I actually like at least a song
More
from that.
Final Fantasy 6.
Really? That's kind of upsetting to me, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of
Yeah, that's
upset with
actually a
that.
surprise.
Mordred's not really an RPG gal.
That's fair.
Shit, Final Fantasy 15 on there.
I know nothing about it.
Yes, but she also put Mass Effect and Mystery Dungeon, as well as Pokemon Platinum, down in dead last.
I guess
Fair.
that's
Final
fair.
Fantasy 15 is like a hack and slash.
Is it? I don't know.
Awkward moment.
In
Awkward
games, in
moment
terms of
when all my
gameplay.
choices were RPGs that I didn't pick as well. Sweats nervously.
Shit.
Well, the first place for Chris, at least.
Chris,
So it seems.
mad respect on your list.
Much appreciated.
I know Mordred likes Minecraft, at least.
Mhm.
All games I agree on.
I'm pressing X and down on one.
I was gonna say, you don't like Monster Hunter, do you?
I like the monsters.
Fair enough.
It's not a franchise for you. I know the gameplay doesn't suit how
Fair,
you
enough.
like.
Fair enough. But let us
I
proceed.
wonder if you'd actually like the Monster Hunter Stories series.
She doesn't like RPGs.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yep.
Do-do-do-do-do.
All right. Moving swiftly along, and quite unfortunately, gotta put the doc.
What the fuck?
Wow.
Again, I'm historically not a fan of first-person shooters, so Halo wasn't doing anything for me. The Souls games have yet to fully grip me, so Dark Souls wasn't doing you any favors. There are a handful of Final Fantasies I like better than 6. Never heard of Echo Knight and Paper Mario. While I like the Mario games I've played, I don't feel overly strongly about the franchise as a whole.
Ugh. Disgusting opinion.
But I'm entitled to it nonetheless. Next up is gotta go Peter.
Damn.
So, Five Nights, while I appreciate the lore behind it, I personally am not a fan of jump scares, so the games themselves do not appeal to me. I will take your word that Dishonored is a quintessential assassin game. I will break into it and tell you. while Platinum was the game that got me back into Pokemon, it is by no means my favorite, and I'm still holding out to see what becomes of our Nuzlocke to determine if I truly love it or not.
Oh boy.
And then Mass Effect I have liked, but in a similar vein of Paper Mario, I'm relatively indifferent to, and I am admittedly looking forward to breaking into the Mystery Dungeon series, so if Explorers of Sky ends up being the only one of those I touch, then I will give my honest feedback then and there.
It's the best one, so go for it.
Very good. Next up, we're going to have Sam.
Yo,
Still haven't looked into Celeste, but between this and your OST, I do think it's one of those ones that's on the top of my to playlist, if not very close to it.
I mean, Doc praises all the time. What can I say?
Crystal and Fire Emblem Awakening, both things that I have played and enjoyed. Awakening, I have, at this point, probably hundreds of hours in, just with how many times I've replayed it and gotten all the supports, and
Respect.
let's be real, had the multiple save files for the Harem Fantasy. But hey, Guilty Gear Strive seems great fighting game. I looked into it a little bit with the super moves. Yeah, or not the Guilty Gear Strive was the one where you put forth Coming Up Cagliostro, right?
No,
That's Grand Blue Fantasy versus.
That's it.
Guilty Gear, I did the Heavenly Potemkin Mustard.
Yeah, that
yeah.
was. I wanted to say that earlier because
That's right. Yeah. So I looked up a little bit of Guilty Gear after that video, and frankly enjoyed what I saw.
Give the
Slay
OST a listen. Give the OST a listen.
Yeah, and Slay the Spire, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief and give that one a try because I likened it to Chain of Memories, and Deadlock said it was kind of similar. So if that's the case, I'll probably enjoy that.
It inspired a ton of other indie games as well. So
Fascinating. Then number 2 slot, gonna give that to Deadlock.
Doing pretty good today, Della.
Yeah, Sly 2, always good. I admit I'm indifferent to Crash Bandicoot, but I enjoy Okami and Jak 2, and Hollow Knight's one of those ones that I've always wanted to get around to playing, so again, looking forward to that. But that, of course, leads to one turn deserving another, and Mordred taking the first spot. Silent Hill 2, easily one of the quintessential horror games before the horror genre had some new life breathed into it. Pokemon Emerald, Hoenn will always be my favorite region, again for sentimental reasons like everything else on my list. Final Fantasy 15 is just bro the game. Ratchet & Clank 3, always fun, I don't think there's a Ratchet & Clank title that isn't. And Spyro, again, I've had quite a bit of fun with that franchise as well, so not really a bad look in the bunch.
Alright, Deadlock.
F me.
I'd rather
You
not.
could ask me this
I'm good.
question, no, not literally, mind you, but oh god, you could ask me this question tomorrow, and my order of things would probably be different.
That's entirely true.
This is just an difficult choice for me, especially in this one. This entire draft list was just a big roller coaster for me on who's going where, and I'm still not entirely sure of who I'm putting where.
Well, lock it in.
But
Lock in.
think I have to. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put Peter in the last again. I'm sorry, buddy.
Ow.
Woof.
Yeah. That one I didn't see coming. I thought he would have ranked you a little higher.
No, don't get me wrong. I love the Mass Effect. I love the Pokemon games, even though it's maybe having 2 is kind of slightly redundant. I'm not gonna hold you against it because of that. Dishonored is just one of those I'm just not overly familiar with. I may want to try that at some point. But Five Nights at Freddy's is what weighs you down for me. It's just not. I'm not a big horror person, and it's one of those I just don't see myself ever getting into.
Damn.
Poor Peter.
You're put Dead by Daylight, Fred.
No,
Give it-
it's.
You know what? No,
literally just
he's one too many of these. This is what he gets.
Damn. No, it's fine. It's at the end of the day, I just kind of want people to play the games I'm recommending.
Which I definitely will. I will literally play all these games on this list.
Play Mass Effect Legendary Edition, play Explorers of Sky, play Dishonored. That's it. That's all I want you
Speaking
guys
of
to take on.
horror, Mordred, yours is similarly low on my list for similar reasons. Silent Hill is just not going to be my thing. I understand people love it. I understand why people love it. It's just never going to appeal to me. Meanwhile, Final
that's a damn
Fantasy.
shame.
Yeah, that's just how I am. I'm sorry, I can't help that. That's nothing against you. The only other things that are also holding you back slightly is Final Fantasy, because I just find trying to get into that series a bit overwhelming. I just don't even know where to even begin with that. And Final Fantasy 15, just feels like it's going to be like hard to get into. That's just my preconceived thing. So I've nothing against your picks. And of course,
It's
Spyro,
basically just pick one.
I would have probably come with something like from the original trilogy, in my personal opinion. But each their own. Like Spyro definitely deserves love. We can both agree on that. Third, the bronze medal, I'm going to give to Doc.
Yeah, I saw that comment after the Final Fantasy comment.
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy and the fact that I don't know Echo Knight very particularly well. I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but like Paper Mario, not a series I'm very familiar with, but after playing Thousand Year Door, it's like, okay, I'm on board with this. I want to try more of this.
You'll probably like Paper Mario. It's like I said, it's not as story rich as Thousand Year Door, but it's just my favorite.
Halo 3 was just
Come on,
it was
that's
just
how we met.
nostalgia central.
That is literally
That
how
was
we
nostalgia
met. So I
central.
mean, come on.
Yeah, that was like it would be criminal if I took that away from you. And Dark Souls is also just still a phenomenal game.
Right, you introduced me to, so
Yeah, I know. It's like those are definitely give you good points in my books.
I'm telling you, will probably like Echo Knight. It's not really. You get a little spook here there, but it's not really scary. So that's a benefit, at least.
Which leads me to the hard decision here. 4 great games I'm wanting to get into each, and just like one I'm just like kind of in about. So I'm gonna have to give the silver medal to you, Sam.
Understandable.
I just
Yeah.
like. I'm also just like not. I like having fun with fighting games at times, but like they are still like some of the games I just find myself starting to actually start picking up and everything.
Oh, very
Pokemon-
much so. No, I understand.
Yeah, Pokemon Crystal, like even with like out of all the Pokemon games, Johto's not my favorite for just how stupid its difficulty curve can be at times.
Yeah, I get that.
But like Slay the Spire, Fire Emblem Awakening, great game. Celeste, I really need to start playing that one at some point. It is.
Yes, you should.
Once
is-
again, you will
it is-
like it.
It is probably so much on my back burner right now. It's charred. It's burnt. It's just like
New Year's
it needs to
resolution.
come out and play at some point.
New Year's resolution.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll make that a goddamn New Year's resolution that needs to be played starting in the first. Which of course leaves my good friend Chris over here. Great taste, phenomenal taste. Like Black Flag is probably like my least on that because I'm just not big on like Assassin's Creed. Maybe I'll get into it. Black Flag is probably a good point, but like Minecraft, you can't go wrong with Minecraft. Like anyone who says you can go wrong with Minecraft, you're lying.
What here,
Straight
creative
up.
squares?
Monster Hunter, like any Monster Hunter entry you could probably pick, and I would be on board with it. Shadow of the Colossus, like practically the most artsy game on this list, and just it would be remiss to not have that here somewhere. I'd be questioning your sanity, honestly, if you didn't.
One of us had to do it.
Questioning my own.
And of course, Skyrim, like love it or hate it, it's a phenomenal game. I have trouble getting back into it every now and then, but like I still had a whole bunch of fun going through it the first couple of times.
I come back to it once a year or two.
All right, that leaves you, Sam.
All right. First things first, absolutely no hate, only love to all of these. Absolutely. Like, there are games on everyone's list I need to play. But I do have to start somewhere. So, Chris, unfortunately, you're at the bottom for me.
Damn.
Is what it is.
I didn't see that coming. I'll be honest. I thought it was gonna
I
be me.
love Monster Hunter World. It's absolutely amazing. Minecraft is great. Skyrim is fun, and so is Black Flag, but I don't care about them. Also, Shadow of the Colossus, absolutely respect. I need to play it at some point. Not the highest on my list, unfortunately. But still,
You would like it. I think you'd like it.
most likely. I need to really be in the mood to play it, and I just never have been.
Yeah, that's another one where you can kind of like stick your toe in the water by listening to the OST first. It is phenomenal.
But
Both epic and morbid.
moving on quickly through this, next up would have to be Peter.
So I mean, I was expected to either be bottom or second to bottom.
Look, Mystery Dungeon Explorers the Sky, I really, 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 really need to play that.
You do?
Pokemon Platinum, respect. I love, like, Pokemon's hard to go wrong with. Not impossible. Dishonored, again, another game on my list that I really need to play. FNAF has great lore. I'm not gonna play the games. Mass Effect, I don't care. I don't
You're
care
wrong.
to play it or not. Look, it's just personal opinion. That's it. I have no disrespect.
I'm holding in my rage.
Okay, third place, we have Docto.
That seems to be where I'm at, about the middle here.
Halo's fun. It was a great time. Good nostalgia. Final Fantasy VI, respect. Dark Souls is great. I haven't played that one, but I respect for the series, the franchise. Echo Knight.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not-
That was my one that no one knows.
I don't do horror either way, so I'm not even
It's-
gonna attempt to play it.
I'll tell you this, it's really not even horror.
Look, I can't play Five Nights at Freddy's because of the horror.
It's even less than Five Nights at Freddy's. It's barely horror, I'm telling you that.
And Paper Mario, I just haven't touched it yet. I really should. I need to play those
You
games.
absolutely would love it. You love the fun, like, kind of childish nature the game has about itself.
Yeah, I know. I really should. It's on my list of I really need to play this.
You guys need to play it. It's my number one, so you need to play it. That's just the rule.
But moving on, in silver. By the way, just picking who was going to be on bottom was hard. Look, it was everyone absolutely loved your list. But in second place, to just get this over with quickly, Mordred, Silent Hill 2, absolute respect. I am never going to play that game. You cannot convince me to play that game. But I absolute respect. The story sounds amazing. Final Fantasy 15, I really should play it. Ratchet and Clank is Ratchet and Clank. Spyro: A New Beginning, that one was just a pet pick for me. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Emerald, again, hard to mess up Pokemon, but not impossible. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say about that. Leaving
I was just gonna
number
make a joke.
one. Yeah.
I was gonna make a joke about someone messed up Pokemon Emerald, and now there's too many types.
Funny. So yeah,
I
that
fucking
leaves.
called it on Deadlock.
Yeah, that leaves Deadlock in number one. That's just a list of games That's a list of one game that I have played and 4 games that are very high up on my list and I really need to do. And also Crash Bandicoot, which is just a legend.
Damn straight.
All
Look,
right.
I don't plan to
all
play Crash anytime soon, but like, how do you argue with Cash Banuka?
All right.
You don't. It's fucking Cash Banuka.
Also, Deadlock, even if you put me in last place, I would still offer you an Aliens Aliens hand grab.
Whatever that means. Let me. The scores
Again.
are tallied. Are you ready to hear the scores? You better be, because we're already gone on so long,
Well,
and I'm.
definitely done mentioning anything Silent Hill now.
No, it's still a good pick. Just not my thing.
And here's what we're looking at. At last place with 7 points. We already know it's Peter. we already know.
Yay! He lost one!
Yeah, he can bleed. In 4th place with 13 points is unfortunately me. I was hoping to do a little better, but I know y'all ain't fun, and I knew Echo Knight was going to be a rough pick, so that's on me, I guess. In 3rd place, right in the middle, there's 6 of us. That's not right in the middle. There's 6 of us. In
Middle adjacent.
I mean, technically, it's right in the middle.
So I was actually in
Two middle
5th.
spots.
I was in 5th place, so actually in 4th place is, with 14 points, is Sam. You're just above me.
Yep.
In 16 points, for 3rd place, Chris.
Okay, not bad.
In 2nd place, with an astounding 19 points, Mordred. While Silent Hill 2 may have hurt with some of the crybabies around here, I still think that was an excellent pick.
It was definitely
Oh,
an excellent
no,
pick.
it was a good pick. It gave points on my list. I just cannot play it.
And number 1, his first win in this series of the King of, it is Deadlock.
I have taste!
I guess that's basically what this says. He has the best taste of us.
Get this man a moose
You
antler
get the
crown.
clip of Bane coming out of the pit in Batman Dark Knight Rises.
his first actual win as a field at luck.
Feels nice to actually have a win under my belt.
It's been like 9
once
videos.
done.
It's been like 9 videos, but like 7 since we started doing the rankings, so this is his first time winning.
Enjoy the crown while you have it. because
I have
I've
been waiting
filling up this
for
cave
9 videos.
Don't worry, I've been filling up this cave with copper chloride.
What is
It's a
that?
toxic chemical, bitch. Let's go. That's why the candle was burning blue. Haha! Later, bitches.
I'm already dead. This doesn't
I'm
affect me.
just gonna walk out the door. Bye, everyone.
All right, I'm
I'll
gonna have
take
to.
that time with me. By the way, thank you. Bye.
All right, well, I'm gonna have to change the King of Podcasts video location next time. So we'll see you guys next time with whatever topic it is then. In the meantime, I'm gonna call a toxicologist and find a new place to live.
This stuff smells kind of nice, actually.